about Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto appeared to have this sort of idea in mind.
He pretty clearly did, and it's pretty clearly working. And Bitcoin's having a lot of issues right now that everyone's arguing about. But it's important to take a step back and realize that the reason Bitcoin is having these problems right now is because it's gotten so popular and so many people are using it that everyone's fighting over who gets to use it.
Yep.
So it's if you're going to have problems, these are the exact right type of problems to have, I suppose.
Yeah, I've described it as growing pains, and it is very painful to watch all of this happen as what was one time, at least apparently, on the surface, seemed to be sort of this united group of people who just wanted to do what was best for Bitcoin, now split into at least two factions of people who are severely at disagreement over how to grow Bitcoin into the future. There has been this group called the Bitcoin Core. These are the sort of head programmers on the project, many of whom seem to be just fine resting on their laurels, and just they're okay with the crazy fees that have been growing. Just, I guess, I don't know what the percentage is, but we've been saying at least 1,200% since 2015. But that copy was written months ago now, so it might have been 2,000% or more. I mean, the fees have been insane, and that has, I think, driven a lot of people away from Bitcoin and had them investigating these other cryptocurrencies out there that are competing with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has been losing its market share as a result of that fairly consistently over the last 3 months. Then there's this other group, which you're involved with, Bitcoin Unlimited, that has been pushing for an increased block size, which will allow for more transactions per minute to be processed on the Bitcoin network. And so recently, this conflict between these two sides, we've been reporting on it here on Free Talk Live. It's been going on for a few years now, but it's been getting particularly bad within the last several months due to the escalating fees that users now have to pay. I could pull up my wallet here. We just got back from Social Sundays tonight, a weekly get-together of some of the libertarians here in the Keene, New Hampshire area, and we go to a place called Local Burger, which is an actual physical location, a mom-and-pop kind of business that accepts Bitcoin. And I'm just pulling up my details right now from my Bitcoin wallet. It looks like the fee was 0.0007 Bitcoin, which is probably like basically just under $2 worth of Bitcoin to send what was approximately a $12 or $11 or $12 fee, or $11 or $12 total
payment,
purchase. Yeah, so like a $2 fee. 3 years ago, Roger, that fee would have been what, 2 cents?
Yeah, maybe less than a penny. And up until around 2012, 2013, the majority of Bitcoin transactions were actually free if the coins have been sitting at an address for long enough. And the part that's so frustrating for me and for anybody who's actually trying to use Bitcoin in commerce is that the current Blockstream and core developers openly and actively say that they want high fees. A number of them even say that they want the fees to go over $100 per Bitcoin transaction, which I don't know about you, but if Bitcoin transactions cost $100 each, I wouldn't be using Bitcoin.
No
I would
way.
be using something else. And there's 1,001 different alternatives out there that people are able to choose from. And we're seeing more and more people starting to choose those alternatives. In the fact that Bitcoin's share of the overall crypto coin market cap has dropped below 50% for the first time ever.
That's right.
And that happened right in time with when the fees for Bitcoin began to skyrocket. And it would be one thing if this was unpreventable, but we have these devs openly saying, "Oh yeah, this is a great thing. The fees are high. Hooray! We're accomplishing our goals." And no, that's the exact opposite thing we want to have for Bitcoin. It's terrible for Bitcoin. That's right.
When you say the Bitcoin devs, it's my understanding that there are hundreds of devs. So I've been told. I can't say I'm in the loop.
Some are bigger devs than others, though, right?
And who are the devs, and are they all run by Blockstream? And how the hell did this happen?
So there's about half dozen to a dozen guys that the majority of which are employed by Blockstream. And the part that's really frustrating is you guys know who Gavin Andreessen is. He's the person that Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, turned over the entire Bitcoin project to and turned over the software GitHub account to. He's the one who contacted you guys and told you guys all about Bitcoin.
Yep, that's right.
And he was a fantastic steward of Bitcoin and kept Bitcoin on the right path for years and years until he made the mistake of inviting these other guys in and giving them access to the same account. So they shared access to this account. And then about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now, these other guys, without Gavin's permission, kicked him out of the account and removed him from the account and deleted his access to the account.
That's a hostile takeover if I've ever heard of one.
Sounds criminal to me.
And they did it under the guise of thinking, oh, maybe his account has been hacked. And then as soon as they found out his account hadn't been hacked, they said, oh, yeah, well, we're not going to give you access back anyhow.
Wow.
Which is just absolutely ridiculous. And these people have a completely different vision for the future of Bitcoin than Satoshi had, a completely different vision for the future of Bitcoin than Gavin had, and a completely different vision for the future of Bitcoin than I have. And it's so bad now that the Bitcoin blocks are so full that people want their Bitcoin transactions confirmed. Another website that runs a Bitcoin mining pool now accepts payments via credit card for people to have their Bitcoin transaction confirmed.
I saw you posting about that, I don't know, several weeks ago, it seems like, about this site, btc.com, and I actually tried to go there because there's a Bitcoin vending machine here in town. We had the fees set too low because the fees have got just like doubled in the last month. And we had the fees set too low, so a couple of the transactions, actually a few of them, had been stuck. And they were stuck for like 2 days. So I actually went to that site to try to use it to speed up those transactions being confirmed. Unfortunately, I was unable to utilize it due to being unable to add a credit card to this Alipay system that they require you to pay with. Luckily, I found a Chinese guy who said he knows a miner, and then he took a payment in Bitcoin from me, and sure enough, he got those things sped right through. More coming up with Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
When did American men get so soft? Today's average red-blooded American man has less testosterone than his father, and his father has less testosterone than his father. Before we turn into a country of powder puffs, Force Factor is launching the Man Up America event. We want to send every man in America a complimentary bottle of the breakout supplement taking GNC by storm. Test X 180 Ignite, loaded with free testosterone-boosting manliness. Get your complimentary bottle by texting SHAPE44 to 369369. During workouts, Test X 180 Ignite raises levels of free testosterone in your body to help build lean muscle. Plus, it helps burn fat, fuel sexual desire, and improve performance. Now you can continue to feel like the real men that made this country great. Do yourself a favor. Do America a favor. Text SHAPE44 to 369369 for your complimentary bottle. That's a complimentary bottle by texting SHAPE44 to 369369.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work," especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in "I'll take anything" mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and we are talking crypto, specifically Bitcoin, and its future. Is it a bright future for Bitcoin? I think all of us want it to be, but is that going to be the case? Because there's been this sort of internal geek war been going on now for a while. And, of course, Bitcoin.com. We've got Roger Ver on with us from Bitcoin.com, the founder, the man behind Bitcoin.com, not the creator of Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com is Bitcoin itself was created by Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2008. And actually, we were just talking about the white paper that he wrote before the show tonight. Mark, you've actually taken the time to read the full 8 pages of that. It came out, was released to the world, and has become the world's #1 and first cryptocurrency, with currently right now, I think, about $2,185 per Bitcoin is what one Bitcoin costs. Roger, when you bought into Bitcoin, was it like 10 cents? Do you remember how much it was when you bought your first Bitcoin?
It was right around $1.
$1. Okay, so you got in late.
Well, I sent the wire to Mt. Gox when they were about 50 cents, and they didn't credit it to my account until it was about $1.
Jeez.
So I still did okay on that.
Yeah. And now here you are today. You've been dubbed Bitcoin Jesus, though I've heard you don't much really care for that particular terminology. It has stuck with you. And as a result, you've become hated by many people within the Bitcoin community. I mean, every Twitter post, I thought people didn't like me, but people really, really don't like you, Roger, because you stand for a change to the Bitcoin system that would increase.
Not a change as much as a return to what it was meant to be.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point, but it's a change from what it is now.
I'm trying to go down the original path that was outlined in the original white paper and was the game plan for Bitcoin from day one. And just recently, a bunch of people managed to gain control of the project and completely change the future roadmap of Bitcoin. And they want to change it from a peer-to-peer cash system, as outlined by Satoshi Nakamoto. They want to change this into a settlement layer that costs $100 per transaction, which isn't interesting to me.
They're insane.
So
that's what they want.
This new accord, the
consensus,
the New York City consensus, or whatever they're calling it, New York City Accords, that came out.
This came out last Monday, last week.
Right. You and Bitcoin.com, you've signed off on it, but Blockstream and thus, many of the core developers who. It sounds to me like criminally wrested control of Bitcoin away from Gavin Andresen. These folks have not signed on. Have you found in that 2-week period of time that some of the vitriol on the internet has settled down because people have come to realize that the other side has no intention of coming to the table, that the other side does not want to negotiate?
Maybe somewhere in some small corner of the internet it has, but for the most part, the internet's always filled with vitriol and hate.
Yeah, they're still going to be angry because
they would be in real life.
Well, because isn't this consensus? Now, let's get into talking about what happened last week. So, doesn't this consensus basically mean Bitcoin is going to what's called hard fork? And if so, can you explain briefly for our audience that is probably mostly completely uninitiated on these concepts what that means?
So a hard fork is just a word that I feel like the other side in this debate is using to make things sound much scarier than they actually are. A hard fork is just a scary sounding word for a protocol upgrade. So right now, Bitcoin's blockchain is able to be, have 1 megabyte on average every 10 minutes added to that blockchain. So it can hold 1 megabyte worth of additional transactions. So this forthcoming protocol upgrade to Bitcoin is going to increase that from 1 megabyte every 10 minutes to 2 megabytes every 10 minutes. So when you hear about it that way, it doesn't sound nearly as scary. And that's all the arguments over. Whereas a number of other people want to figure out ways to include more transactions in each 1 megabyte of data. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I'm all for that. But you don't also have to restrict the actual amount of data as well. So like it's the year 2017, 2 megabytes every 10 minutes, or even 10 megabytes every 10 minutes is not a big deal at this point.
And we had talked about this technology to supposedly increase the amount of transactions per kilobyte or whatever, and that's this segregated witness, which you have signed on to now at this point because that's part of this proposal. The proposal on the table, as I understand it, and please correct me if I'm wrong because I'm just a noob here to a lot of this kind of level of detail on Bitcoin. The segregated witness would be implemented, and also a 2 megabyte increase would be implemented within 6 months.
Right, that's the agreement, and I've signed on to it not because I think that it's a great idea, but I think it's much, much, much better than the status quo that we have right now.
Absolutely.
Which is where Bitcoin is losing, market share day after day to 1,000,001 altcoins that have faster confirmations and lower fees and a better user experience. And there's, wallets like the Jax wallet that's, I think, the sponsor of your show.
Yep.
It's fantastic. It makes it so easy to switch from Bitcoin to Ethereum to Dash to whatever you want. There's, I don't know, a half dozen or a dozen different crypto coins in there. And I've been using Dash, the Jax wallet, because it's that easy. And the fact of the matter is if Bitcoin doesn't provide users with the best possible user experience, people are going to switch to something else. They're going to switch to something else really, really quickly.
And that's the
that's
problem
happening right
here.
now before our eyes.
That's the problem here, is that time is of the essence. There's been a lot of time wasted arguing over this, future course for Bitcoin. Finally, as of last Monday or whenever, we have a course. There's been a course charted. 80+%, so like 82, 83% of the mining power behind Bitcoin were signatories to this charter. So big players are involved in signing this thing. You guys have 80+% of these, big players. So the question I think that's most important is, how long realistically is this going to take? I mean, how come everybody didn't just go home that night and flip their miners to support SegWit and support Bitcoin Unlimited and the increased block size? And why can't this happen in a week? Why does it have to take 6 months or up to 6 months? And what do you think a realistic estimate is?
There's just too many moving pieces here and too many players and too many different people with different visions. So I wish everybody could go home and flip the switch and it would be done in 24 hours. We're not there yet. People are still arguing about it.
The people who signed the accord, 83% of the mining power in the world signed the accord.
Yeah, there's definitely some politicking when it comes to the way the whole thing's been presented. So a fair number of the people signed the agreement, kicking and screaming and not too terribly happy. But everybody, I think, likes it better than where we're at today. So hopefully that means that it'll go forward because everybody likes it better than where we're at today, which is nothing's happening and Bitcoin is losing market share quickly to all these altcoins. And then the argument that really is so frustrating for me that I hear from the other side, they said, oh, well, those people don't understand why Bitcoin is better than these other currencies, and they'll come back to Bitcoin eventually. And I don't think that's the case. If another coin gives you a faster confirmation at a lower price and is easier to use, why would you go back to Bitcoin? Of course you're not.
I have a question, Roger. This is Jonny Ray, and I'm a bigger noob than Ian. But to go back a little bit, the terms segregated witness, settlement layer, and off-chain, are they related? Are they synonymous? What can you tell me what segregated witness means?
So segregated witness is another fancy way of just saying removing part of the data from the normal part of the block and putting it in this other area. So right now, all the Bitcoin transactions kind of go into one bucket, so to speak. And this is going to make a second bucket that's separate from the first bucket. And then one of the parts that I hate about it the most is that the developers behind segregated witness just completely arbitrarily, centrally planned, picked a fee discount for the Bitcoin part of the Bitcoin transactions that go in this
Hold
new
that
bucket.
thought, Roger. We're going to continue here in moments with Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com.
Do you know what's lurking in your water? More than 200 contaminants could be sitting there just waiting for your glass. With the ProPure water filter, start enjoying clean and great-tasting water today. ProPure filters, independently tested, latest water filter technology. ProPure systems do not require electricity and are easy to set up and easy to use. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Yesterday, I got a call from the IRS. They say I owe them over $16,000. I don't have that kind of money.
Don't try to fight the IRS on your own. Use Coast One Financial Group and let them help you get a fresh start. If you owe at least $10,000 in back taxes, call now for a free and confidential tax debt analysis. Call Coast One now for a free consultation at 800-643-4661 now. 800-643-4661. That's 800-643-4661.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Helen.
About almost 3 decades ago this fall, little creatures appeared in my consciousness.
Little creatures?
They introduced themselves to me as Matilda and Mumford Rabbit.
Huh.
They come from a higher planet, more spiritually evolved. Matilda Rabbit has a habit of using God's gift of free speech. Matilda Rabbit has a habit of snoring in her sleep, but not before she does implore the Lord her soul to keep.
Is it the same God?
Oh, yeah. Jesus is their word and way on all planes.
Why would they care about Jesus? They don't even live on this planet.
Right. How would they even know? Because Jesus was on our Earth, right?
Well, Jesus is not on this planet alone. He's everywhere.
Did he die on a cross in outside of Jerusalem and the other planets too?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us right here, toll-free at 855-450-FREE. If you've got a question for Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com, he is with us. If you want to talk about something else, well, stand by. We will get to you. We'll open the phones up as we always do coming up here in a little bit. But we're talking about a very important topic to many of us here on the show, and that is Bitcoin. And it should be an important topic to people out there listening. Even if you don't have any yet, Bitcoin is a really interesting thing. It's a phenomenon. It is the first in the world cryptocurrency, and it has, in just the last several months, added quite a bit of value it dropped down a little bit over the last few days, but still over $2,100 US dollars per Bitcoin as we speak right now. And just a few months ago, or several months ago, it was around $1,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. A year ago, it was like $600 US dollars per Bitcoin, and it's just been interesting and enlightening. And for many people, enriching to watch this happen. So it's a worldwide phenomenon, and that's one of the reasons why we're reporting on it in great detail here, because what happens to Bitcoin is a very important thing. It is the world's leader in cryptocurrencies, although it's starting to lose its market dominance, having gone down from about 85% of the total market cap for all cryptocurrencies combined down to below 50%, where it's kind of hovering at the moment. And Roger Ver is with us from Bitcoin.com, and we were talking about some of those alternatives to Bitcoin that have been around forever. I mean, for many years, there have been other options that are essentially derivatives of most of them. There are some exceptions to it, like Monero. But there are, a bunch of coins that have been created to compete with Bitcoin. And right now, other things like Dash are starting to look pretty good because the Bitcoin fees are crazy and the Dash fees are next to nothing, just like Bitcoin used to be. And we've been talking about Dash because they're a sponsor of Free Talk Live, which is something that a lot of the other coins don't have a business plan to do, to actually have a built-in marketing budget. So Dash seems to be a real smart option out there, and a solid competitor. Of course, like any cryptocurrency, it allows you to pay anyone anywhere in the world anytime for just pennies on the dollar. And Dash has the vision of being digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth, which is what Bitcoin used to do, but not so much anymore until they can fix the problems. Dash is decentralized, and it's run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. And anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. You can join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today, and you can find out more at dash.org. Find out why there's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to dash.org and check that out. Now, Roger, I saw you post on, I think it was your Twitter, not too long ago, that you had transferred somebody some money with Dash instead of Bitcoin, and you were really pleased because you didn't have to pay through the nose and in fees to do it.
Yeah, and it was actually to another longtime Bitcoiner that I don't know if he wants to be public in regards to that, but it's a well-known Bitcoin figure asked me to send him some Dash.
Yeah. Right. I mean, look at how things have devolved in the the new money sphere, that we have to wonder, oh, well, what's it going to be like if we say we used this currency or that currency? I mean, that's kind of pathetic. I mean, we're using the thing that, in whatever circumstance serves us best. And Bitcoin needs to Bitcoin needs to get on the stick. And I'm really I'm sad and upset.
That makes two of us there, Mark. I'm incredibly sad and upset. Bitcoin had this giant first mover advantage, had the biggest network effect, had the most users, had the most user adoption, had the most businesses interested in it. I'm aware of literally businesses that have over 100 million monthly active users that were in the process of integrating Bitcoin accounts into all of their user accounts and put that on hold because of this scaling debate and because Bitcoin hasn't been allowed to scale for social reasons, not for any technical reasons, but for social reasons. A bunch of people want to change Bitcoin into just being the settlement layer with a bunch of fancy technology on top. And they've blocked Bitcoin from being able to scale to keep up with user demand. And as someone who's one of the earliest people telling people about how wonderful Bitcoin is, it brings a tear to my eye to see this happening.
It hurts, and it makes it really hard to promote Bitcoin, although I continue to do so just because, honestly, I don't have any other options as far as locally. I mean, we promote Dash on the air, but as far as like payment systems are concerned for real-life merchants, right now Bitcoin is pretty much all there is. Now, I know the Dashers are working on a solution, and hopefully they'll be coming out with that sooner rather than later, because I feel like we're stuck here. As you're aware, Roger, we've been doing a lot of Bitcoin outreach here in the Keene area and have, as a result, turned Keene into sort of this Bitcoin powerhouse where we have more Bitcoin accepting businesses per capita here in Keene than San Francisco does, which is supposedly the worldwide #1 place. So, I mean, a little bit of effort has really reaped some rewards, even with Bitcoin as broken as it is right now. Now, Jonny Ray, you were asking a question. I don't think we ever got to the full response about some of the terminology, the settlement layer and segregated witness.
Yeah, to paraphrase my question, I had basically just asked for definitions of segregated witness, on-chain, off-chain, and settlement layer.
Yeah, so segregated witness is just a fancy term of like segregating the witness signatures that are part of a Bitcoin transaction to a different area. A more important question is on-chain versus off-chain. So a Bitcoin transaction is on-chain when you broadcast the Bitcoin network and it's recorded in a block. An example of an off-chain transaction would be if you have a Coinbase account and I have a Coinbase account and I send Bitcoins from my Coinbase account to your Coinbase account, and Coinbase just updates their internal ledger, and that never goes onto the actual Bitcoin blockchain. And we're seeing a huge amount of Bitcoin transactions being moved into these off-chain systems that don't provide the same level of security. Coinbase could freeze either of our accounts at any time for any reason. We need to make as much room for people to make on-chain Bitcoin transactions as we possibly can. And I'm sorry, was there a third term you were asking for as well?
That's what's full, though. The on-chain transactions, those blocks that they have to be included in, those blocks are 99.98 plus % full or whatever every single 10 minutes, and so it's hard to get your transactions in there. Mark,
yeah, we were into alternative currencies here on Free Talk Live before we ever heard
gold,
about
silver,
Bitcoin. Sure. And the story I heard about how fractional reserve banking began was that goldsmiths would hold people's gold and give them little pieces of paper to say, this is a 1 ounce, this is a certificate for a tenth of an ounce or 1 ounce or whatever of gold, and that people would do their transactions by handing the piece of paper over to someone else, and then the basically the piece of paper became worth an ounce of gold because you could go and get it from the goldsmith. What the goldsmiths found out is they never had to actually have all the gold on hand, because rarely would people come and get their gold. It was better taken care of by the smith. And so what they began doing was handing out more pieces of paper than they actually had gold for, or actually probably putting the gold to work, like loaning it out or whatever that they would do in order to get, public work projects or whatever the thing was. And so when there was rumor that Goldsmith didn't have the gold in the vault, then there would be a run on the bank, as it were. People would come and want their certificates cashed out, and the goldsmith wouldn't have it, and then I don't know, slavery or whatever the hell would happen. I mean, you're talking about ancient Babylon here. So this is kind of the story. Essentially, off-chain transactions, like you described with Coinbase, doing transactions between two Coinbase accounts, that would enable an organization like Coinbase to essentially begin doing fractional reserve banking. And this is what I find so frightening about off-chain solutions is that in the Bitcoin network, you send actual Bitcoin, which is like sending actual gold. It's not a certificate for that. No one's holding it for you. You hold it, and then you give it to someone else who can hold it. If you let other people hold your currency, then, well,
get what you get.
Yeah, you're bringing us back into the dark ages of fractional reserve banking and state monetary policy. This is what we were drug out for. Just Satoshi Nakamoto gave us a lifeline for just a moment, and then these people that want these off-chain solutions seem to me like they're putting their foot in my face and shoving me back into the mud.
Well, isn't it true that this Blockstream company that is sort of taking control over Bitcoin is funded by a big bank to the tune of like $100 million? There's more coming up here in moments. Roger, can you stick with us?
You got it.
All right.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Get started at Dash.org. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help us create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org and get your own Dash wallet today. That's Dash.org.
Hi, my name is Lee, and for 10 years I've suffered from ulcerative colitis. I've taken prednisone, ibuprofen, and many other prescription drugs and never saw any improvement. I tried salmon oils and flaxseed oils, but only burped them up, and they did not seem to help. Then I learned from an acquaintance who healed her rheumatoid arthritis by using Andreas seed oils. I was so inspired to try them, I began taking Andreas flaxseed, 5-seed blend, black cumin, and coriander seed oils. In 5 months, the swelling in my hands was so reduced, I was able to see my knuckles for the first time in 5 years. I've been off all medications for 13 months, and by using only Andreas seed oils, my colitis is controlled, and the arthritis pain in my knees is also reduced, and my inflammation is zero, and so many other benefits.
A patent-pending process has been developed which results in seed oils that have virtually zero oxidation and are structurally intact. Now, the full healing power of seed oils is available to you via the Andreas seed oils. Call Synergistic Nutrition at 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
Attention CPAP users, stop the insanity and torture of your CPAP mask. Don't you hate the skin irritation and terrible leaks? Jump on the CPAP Pro train, invented by an actual CPAP user that became so frustrated with CPAP masks. Are you ready to try something new? With absolutely no straps or headgear? Go to nomask.com and get the best night's sleep ever. Free to Medicare patients. Go to nomask.com. That's NOMASK.com.
If your home has hard water, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes, damaging your appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars each year. You can eliminate limescale in the entire house with HydroCare products available at Wave Home Solutions. Easy and efficient with no maintenance, no salts, no chemicals, and no coils. And you can buy with confidence from Wave Home Solutions. Performance guaranteed. Just go to bestwater411.com. That's bestwater411.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching here into more with your calls coming up about whatever you want. But right now, if you're going to call in, you do need to be having a question for Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com, where we're talking about the future of Bitcoin. Is it a bright future, or is this consensus that they came out with last week too little, too late? Is it too little to actually save Bitcoin from being overcome by its competition? You know, right now it is still, if you go to coincap.io, for instance, you can, take a look and they'll show you, what the market cap is of Bitcoin compared to the market caps of these other currencies. And the market cap is the current value based in US dollars of all of the Bitcoin that exists in the world at this moment right now. It's currently at about $35.5 billion around the globe for Bitcoin. Its second closest competitor, or the next closest competitor, number 2 on the list, is Ethereum at $15.6 billion. So just under half of the value of Bitcoin right now. And Ethereum's doing great. I mean, it's growing strong and it's growing well. There's all kinds of interesting applications out there for Ethereum. And, of course, below that, there's several other competitors, including Dash and Monero and Ethereum Classic and more. All told, totaled, the number of altcoins is actually the market capitalization of those altcoins, the sort of competitors to Bitcoin, in total is greater than Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin used to be at a dominance of 85% just a few months ago, and it's dropped now below 50% for the first time very recently. And we've got Roger Ver with us from Bitcoin.com.
Roger, do you think if the New York Accords, and it seems like the New York Accords are going to be implemented, I'm hoping. There was an accord like this previously out of Hong Kong, but it didn't have nearly the buy-in as far as miners go, and miners are the only ones that matter. Do you think that when the New York Accords are implemented, that SegWit is adopted and 2 megabyte transaction sizes are raised to 2 megabytes? Do you think that that's going to reverse a lot of the attrition that Bitcoin's experienced?
I really, really, really hope so, but I'm also really, really afraid that it may be too little too late at this point. Bitcoin still has the giant network effect over these other ones, but these other ones are coming up fast and strong. And during the commercial break, I heard the Dash commercial there, and they're advertising the exact right things they need to be advertising. They're advertising instant confirmations for low fees, and Bitcoin has the exact opposite. The average confirmation time is multiple hours, and the fees are really, really high. And the current, quote unquote core devs are saying that that's a good thing. Those people are nuts. People are going to use the currencies to give them fast, safe confirmations for a low price. That's what people want, and that's what people are going to use, and we're seeing that happen. And you mentioned that Bitcoin's share of the overall market cap of the crypto coin space has plummeted from around 85% to less than half in just the last couple of months. That's timed exactly with when the time the Bitcoin fees really got out of control and the confirmation times became really, really long. That's not a coincidence. That's the reason why.
Absolutely. So it's pretty scary, what's going to happen with Bitcoin. But cryptocurrency is going to continue on. Whether or not it is Bitcoin that is on the top, that's really the only question.
Right, and I think that that's one of the conspiracy theories that's out there, and I want to ask Roger that particular question. Many people I've heard say that Roger, if he has any Bitcoin at all left, wants to see Bitcoin run into the ground and, things like this. Now,
That's the most ridiculous conspiracy theory besides the flat Earth, I think.
But I wouldn't take the time on Facebook to address that with some troll that is just throwing crap up in order to say
waste
things.
your time.
But I know that people might have that conspiracy theory after they hear the way we're talking here. I've heard a lot of people say that essentially you back Bitcoin or you hate cryptocurrency. Right, like that's where they're coming from. And so, Roger, are you holding Bitcoin? I mean, do you have Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'm holding a huge amount of Bitcoin. About 9 months or so ago, I sold about 1% of my Bitcoin, and I bought some Dash, I bought some Monero, I bought some Zcash, I bought a number of different currencies there. And in hindsight, I probably should have sold more of my Bitcoin at that time. Bitcoin's up maybe around 5 times in price since I sold 1% of my Bitcoin holdings. All these other currencies are up dozens of times in that same time period. So it's sad, but the reason why is the honest truth is if you want to make a transaction to somebody who already has a Dash wallet and a Bitcoin wallet, the Dash transaction is going to go through much faster and much cheaper and going to provide a better user experience today than Bitcoin. The only difference is Bitcoin has way more users and way more merchants and way more adoption at the moment. But if the user experience continues to be bad, that's going to change. And we're going to see more and more people using things other than Bitcoin.
The momentum that Bitcoin has and has earned, rightfully, over many years is starting to slow down. And so that's why, the big question is how soon can they implement these changes? Now, we've been looking at a website called coin.dance, coin.dance/blocks. And we've been kind of just, taking a look at that from time to time to see where some of these proposals are, and they just seem like they're stalled, at least according to the numbers there. Is that still the best place to look, Roger, to kind of keep an eye on how this is developing from a numbers perspective? How many people are on board? How many of the miners specifically are coming on board with these ideas to change Bitcoin?
Yeah, coin.dance is one of my favorites, and another one that I love is nodecounter.com is another great one that I like.
Because right now it doesn't look like, it's been about a week now. I think it was Monday of last week that this consensus was reached with over 80% of the miners. and there hasn't really been much of a change on this particular website. So it's looking more like it's going to be closer to more of the 6 months rather than fewer of them. And you said you don't have any idea how quickly this can be implemented, but the agreement was at the most it would be 6 months. It's hard to watch because you know that every moment that goes by, every day that goes by that they don't implement this, more people are going to drop off the radar. What is it going to look like when they finally do? So let's fast forward 5 months, and the segregated witness thing finally gets to the level it needs to. The emergent consensus, the increase to the block size gets to the level that it needs to, and they go through this hard fork. Does that mean that there are going to be 2 Bitcoins?
It's possible, but seems very, very, very unlikely in my book. So Monero, for example, has had dozens of hard forks. It's never resulted in there being 2 versions of Monero. And with Bitcoin, unlike Ethereum, which is another competitor to Bitcoin here, the difficulty adjusts every 2016 blocks, which means if you have one group that wants to go one way and another group wants to go another way, the miners on the minority chain there aren't very likely to get paid. Because their blocks are going to be spaced so far apart. You have to wait. You have to have 100 blocks built on top of the block. And maybe this is getting too technical for the radio, but the short version is that I think it's very, very unlikely. And even if it does result in Bitcoin splitting and there's 2 different versions of Bitcoin, compared to where we're at today, that's a fantastic thing.
Right.
Everybody gets the version of Bitcoin that they want, and they can go on their merry way, and all the fighting can end. And
Let
then the market can decide which version of Bitcoin is better and more useful for people around the world. And there's no doubt in my mind that people are going to prefer the version of Bitcoin that gives them fast, safe, cheap, and reliable Bitcoin transactions than the one that's costs $100 per transaction,
right.
And you have no idea when your transaction is going to get confirmed in a block. There's no doubt in my mind which version is going to be adopted.
Yeah, I mean,
by
it really
the market,
can't happen soon enough. But
right. It's the people, the small blockers, the people that want to keep Bitcoin the way it is, really have to act like the government because they have to push their opinion down other people's throats. They can't allow people to, have more options because every option's better than their option.
Okay, so here's what I want to know though: if this hard fork happens, and whether there's 2 Bitcoins or not, this new Bitcoin, the new Bitcoin that supposedly will adhere to the old Bitcoin's ways of Satoshi Nakamoto and all that, the one that you're backing here with the increased block size, will the current programmers who are currently a threat, according to you, to Bitcoin, will they still be in charge of this new one? If not, who will? As far as who will be the programmers of this new direction?
So there's a number of competing dev teams to the current, and they're called Bitcoin Core, but that's not really an accurate term. They're not any more core to Bitcoin than anybody else. But there's a number of competing dev teams. One is called Bitcoin Unlimited. Another is called Bitcoin. There's another one with Jeff Garzik and Sergio Lerner that are working on one. So all of these groups have different and better vision for the future of Bitcoin than the current Blockstream and Bitcoin Core group. So I'll gladly support anybody that thinks that Bitcoin, in order for people to want to use it, needs to have fast, safe confirmations and low fees. And the Bitcoin Core team is advocating for the exact opposite. So I don't support the Bitcoin Core team. I've been funding a number of different competing dev teams with money out of my own pocket with my own Bitcoin.
But how does a winner get picked out of all those dev teams? Is it the miners that kind of vote for them?
Yeah, the reason the answer to that question isn't clear is because there isn't really a clear answer. It's the miners have to vote, the businesses have to vote, the wallets have to vote. It's everybody together.
Oh, we're going to be watching, and it'll be fascinating. Roger, thanks for being with us tonight from Bitcoin.com. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
More coming up. You can join us here on Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is of the opinion that the current Bitcoin Core development team is not taking satisfactory steps to ensure the growth and advancement of Bitcoin in accordance with Satoshi's vision. As community efforts to resolve these problems have failed, it is necessary to resolve them with a different approach. By using subreddit r/BTC instead of r/Bitcoin and running Bitcoin Unlimited, you are casting a vote against the current development team. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
I've discovered the next big thing on the internet. Symbi.com is a symbiotic economy with its own currency where people trade services virtually and locally. Forget the old economy. This is your economy. Symbi.com is slick to use and is backed by the same people that helped launch Reddit and Airbnb. I'm not kidding when I say this is the next big thing. Trust me. Go get an account at Symbi.com. Take a look around and post your services. Symbi, SIMBI.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, May 28th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.35 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,267 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,267. Antiwar.com reports the Iraqi Air Force says it has dropped hundreds of thousands of leaflets over the remaining parts of Old Mosul held by the Islamic State, urging the civilian population within to flee en masse for their own safety and suggesting a military offensive against those neighborhoods was imminent. Iraq has struggled for months with its offensive against the densely populated Old City, trying to limit the civilian death toll for fear of a backlash, and has been clearly regretting its warnings earlier in the invasion of Mosul that civilians ought not attempt to flee. Even getting civilians out of Mosul poses more problems since there was no official effort to make serious provisions for refugees beforehand, and the camps set up by private aid groups and those set up by the UN have already mostly been filled up. On top of that, the Islamic State has reportedly been trying to prevent mass civilian flight from their territory, as depopulating its neighborhoods would place fewer restrictions on invading forces. Since civilians have been shot trying to flee those areas, the leaflets may be reckless in and of themselves, as they encourage locals to take serious risk for the sake of war. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge on Friday dismissed a wrongful death suit against Hillary Clinton filed by the parents of 2 of the Americans killed in Benghazi. The lawsuit was filed in August during the heat of the presidential campaign. It alleges Clinton's use of a private email server caused the attack that killed 4 Americans, including Christopher J. Stevens, the U.S. ambassador to Libya. Clinton was Secretary of State in 2012 when the attack happened. One of the plaintiffs, Patricia Smith, whose son, Sean Smith, was among the people killed, delivered a searing indictment of Clinton at the RNC, saying the Democrats failed to protect her son and then lied to cover up how he died. The lawsuit linked Clinton's private email server with the Benghazi incident, despite there was no evidence Clinton's email server had anything to do with causing the Benghazi attack. In her decision, U.S. District Court Judge Amy Berman Jackson said the question of whether Clinton's email was used appropriately was not relevant to the case. In her 29-page opinion, Jackson wrote, "The court finds that Secretary Clinton was acting acting in the scope of her employment when she transmitted the emails that are alleged to give rise to her liability. The untimely deaths of plaintiff's son is tragic, and the court does not mean to minimize the unspeakable loss the plaintiffs have suffered in any way, but when one applies the appropriate legal standard, it is clear that the plaintiffs have not alleged sufficient facts to rebut the presumption that Secretary Clinton was acting in her official capacity when she used her private email server. Jackson also dismissed a related claim that Clinton defamed the parents by lying about them in the press. When the parents offered a different recollection of their meeting with Clinton after the attack, she told reporters the parents had not properly recalled the details of their conversation. Jackson said the discrepancies did not amount to libel and could have originated due to a simple misunderstanding. Jackson noted Secretary Clinton did not refer to the plaintiffs as liars. Plaintiffs may find the candidate's statements in her own defense to be unpleasant or offensive, but Secretary Clinton did not portray plaintiffs as odious, infamous, or ridiculous. To the contrary, statements portray plaintiffs as normal parents grieving over the loss of their loved ones. A lawyer for Clinton declined comment on the judge's ruling. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Bitcoin Not Bombs. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. A crazy man announces plans to stand in a doorway and yell at cars. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Dennis Fife, an Alhambra, California crazy man, held a press conference today to announce his intention to stand in the doorway of the office building at 2600 Kenilworth Avenue and yell at cars all day.
At approximately 9:30 a.m. on the day in question, shortly after I finish lunging at dogs, I will proceed to the front steps of the Simmons building and yell loudly for 9 hours. The screaming will be broken by a 15-minute fit of rigid catatonia, most likely in the late afternoon.
Among the topics Fife plans to address during his 9-hour rant, the ace of diamonds, bookshelves, the man trying to kill him, plastic bags in trees, Trapper John M.D., and papers everywhere. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves. All you have to do is dial in toll-free and join us here at 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so feel free to Skype on in here at username LRN.FM. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
We talked a lot in the first hour about the future of Bitcoin, and it is a questionable future. We want to hope the best for it, but at the same time, you might be wise to prepare for the worst. The price is doing pretty great, but the fees are crazy. And will this new consensus from last week be implemented soon enough to save Bitcoin's market-dominant position?
I think
we don't know.
I think the answer to that is yes, that absolutely they can do that. I know you're demoralized, Ian.
It's been hard. This has been tough.
Yeah. Well, you work every day in helping people to do transactions in Bitcoin, and to have a customer have to spend $2 in order to do a Bitcoin transaction means that hamburgers, hot dogs, and milkshakes are out of the running
for the most part.
Haircuts and a whole variety of things. Now, I did a Bitcoin transaction. Actually, I did some. I did a cryptocurrency transaction and avoided some Bitcoin fees at one point, relatively recently, with a local business. And I think that Bitcoin can reclaim its status if it acts relatively quickly.
Yeah.
It has 6 months. It has less than 6 months. It's supposed to be pretty immediate for this segregated witness implementation. Which
is it? Right now they're at 30%.
It's supposed to be relatively immediately, right? And there's going to be some people working on holding people to their word. 83% or 82%
of the mining power
in the world has signed up to do this.
Right.
So yes, I think it's going to happen. I really hope it's going to happen. I'm going to hang on. I'm going to operate as though this Bitcoin has been saved.
Has exchanged some of your Bitcoin into other cryptocurrencies.
I'm not dumb, Ian. You don't. you see. That's how you think, right? Like all in, baby. And it's not that way.
Not all in. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
What baskets are your eggs in?
Oh, I've got some gold, some silver, some Bitcoin, and a little bit of the other cryptos. But the thing is, you can't pick a winner on these other ones. I mean, I like Dash, but I don't know if Dash is going to be, Bitcoin's successor. I don't know if it's going to be Ethereum. Ethereum seems to have been a pretty strong number 2 for a while now, but those number 2 through 10 change.
Yeah, Ethereum is not a currency; it's a platform, and Dash is intended to be a currency.
That's true.
Supposed to be significantly easier than Bitcoin ever has.
Yep.
It's got a community, and it's got a structure that Bitcoin's never had, and those are the things that have sold me in it.
I know. That's why I have some Dash.
Yep.
But
I just went to the Google Play Store and got the Jax wallet because of this discussion we just had with Roger Ver decided me, and Mark, what I heard you say, a good rule of thumb, if you're a Bitcoin owner, you're likely to be able to duplicate the nominal amount of Bitcoins with another coin, and then regardless of which one wins, you're sort of in the same position.
Right. You have you can take a relatively small amount, just a percentage of your Bitcoin amount. So say you have 15 Bitcoin or something like that. You can take 5 of those Bitcoin and get 10 in pretty much everything else out there, and you're still staying the majority of your wealth would remain in Bitcoin, but then you would have these other things as a hedge because something's going to take over. And if Bitcoin if Blockstream manages to scuttle Bitcoin, which is apparently what they want to do, I mean that's what it looks like, then well, that's it.
Now, you say Ethereum is a platform, not a currency. Can I still...
It has a currency. It's called Ether.
Okay, so I can get Ether on that Jax wallet and Dash.
Yes, you can. Yep.
Excellent.
You absolutely can. So and you can get Jax over at jaxx.io. Let's go to you with your calls and thoughts. Then coming up, we're what you said the other day or today, Johnny Ray, 5 weeks behind
at least
on our next chapter here of Economics in One Lesson, the book that we've been just slowly climbing through over the last 6 months or maybe more.
I
than
wanted
that.
to encourage America to read, Ian, and you too.
We've been very bad.
You've discouraged the country.
Well, it's not that I haven't read the chapter. It's just that we haven't gotten around to talking about the chapter yet. And let's go to Pan. He is on the line on Skype. Pan, you're on Free Talk Live. Where are you calling from tonight?
Hi.
Oh, we're hearing ourselves back. I apologize, Pan. I don't know if there's some sort of speaker on in the background, but
I'm hearing an echo of your speech.
Oh, it's very strange. All right, well, you're on the air. We can hear you fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm calling to talk about our friend Morpheus and his plight.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It sounds like there is a problem with the talkback continuing to you, and that's going to be a little bit distracting. So we're going to see if we can put you on hold, or maybe we'll have you call in on our regular toll-free
lines. Call
lines.
back one time and see how that works.
Probably is not going to solve that, but yeah, you might want to just call the regular toll-free number at 855-450-FREE with just your regular phone. Thank you for the call tonight, Pan. Sorry for that frustration. Let's go to, in the meantime, a different caller on Skype. We've got Stefan in Ohio. Stefan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, you can hear Stefan's not having the same problem, so it's definitely not our issue. Go ahead, Stefan.
I was thinking today a lot about the necessity of public schools. I actually went to my commencement today, and I started to think to myself, how does this piece of paper help me in any way?
Well, it generally won't.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it won't. So if you want to go to community college and learn, some trade or something like that, something you can do, community college might be a way to do that. So if you want to go the college route, likely you're going to be a college professor, a lawyer, a doctor, perhaps an engineer. These kind of things are a good way to, college.
You're going to need more than community college for those things.
Right, but it's a way to get started.
Yeah.
Second,
and you would need a diploma for that, is what you're saying.
Right, and you may need a diploma just to get into a vocational school. It's not entirely, out of the question that that's the case, depending on your age. So a diploma has some value, but
I can tell you, I've never
been
had
asked
to use it
for mine.
Yeah, I mean, besides going to community college, which I regret, I wish I could have that time back. Since then, since getting out of the whole school system, I have had no use whatsoever for the diploma. What about you, Johnny Ray?
No, my experience basically is just the same as you guys'. Yeah. I went to a community college, and I needed to get my transcripts and my diploma for that. Unfortunately, I was not as successful. I was as successful a community college student as I had been a high school student, and I flunked out of community college.
So there you go, Stefan.
Sorry. What I was going to say is the main purpose of the question was, what necessity really is there for a public school at this point, considering the wide amounts of information we have in today's day and age?
Public schools are out of date. I mean, we have no use whatsoever for these, decrepit old institutions. The only reason they are with us still is because we're forced to have them by the threat of violence. I mean, the government will steal your home from you if you don't pay property taxes, which is mostly what goes to fund the government schools in most places. So that's the reason why they exist. Would they exist if they actually had to compete in a marketplace? I don't know. Maybe because they have sort of, that institutional staying power because they've been around for so long and people think that they need them. But if they were actually subject to open market competition, I think other schooling methods would eat their lunch and do it relatively quickly.
Yeah, I believe that as well. But you ever think that maybe most parents don't send their kids to private schools is simply because they have that free option?
Yeah, sure. I think that the reason parents don't is because they're paying already for the public schools. They think that, well, the schooling's pretty good there, and what more am I going to get for my money by paying for the public school and then paying for the private school?
Right.
And the answer is you'll probably get a marginally better education for your child, but the public school is, when it comes to these regular schools, it's, in many cases, it's not the worst option in the world.
But it's also a terrible option compared to what we could actually have as far as free market and education. Stefan, thanks for the call. Our toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us, 855-450-3733.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go, go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-768-3138. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-768-3138. That's 1-800-768-3138.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got gotta know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Visit GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Sunday edition of the show. You can dial in toll-free and join us here. We got Economics in One Lesson coming up. When we get a chance, the 16th chapter, I believe, is what we are on, and it is
government price fixing.
Yeah, more price control action. We will talk about that coming up here, and of course, your calls and thoughts are welcome. Where you can share your thoughts about anything you want to discuss. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
Also, Mark, tell me about what's going on with hope.freetalklive.com. That is a charitable effort that you've been heading up here, some fundraising for. You've teamed up with Jax.io, the wallet that Johnny Ray was just talking about a moment ago, as well as Cell 411 for matching funds to help an orphanage.
That's right, an orphanage that we're helping to build, organizing the building of in Jinja, Uganda. And at this point, what I've been doing is I've been doling out the money in little, smaller bits. I'm not going to just give them, here's the money for an orphanage, build an orphanage. Mm-hmm. I want to see, progress as steps are taken. And as I raise money, it's like I didn't raise all the money at once either.
Right. It's ongoing.
Yeah. Basically, we're at the end of the last amount. The supplies have been purchased and the walls are going up, and basically we've got a 2-story building without a roof at this point. The columns are in. It looks great. They've done a wonderful job building this, and this is an orphanage that's going to last them for generations. There in Jinja, Uganda. But we need to get the roof on. Like I said, it's rainy season in Uganda, and that these bricks that they use are handmade, and they deteriorate to some extent in the water. Now they're in better shape, being in walls surrounded by mortar, but they still need a roof to keep them from keep any kind of deterioration from happening. So Right now, folks, this is when I need them, and we need the money to get this going. Your dollars will be matched, basically 2-to-1 for your dollars. So one from Jax.io, one from Sell411.com, and well, what else do you need to know? There's kids that don't have a place to sleep in Uganda. Your kids are doing fine and they're healthy. These kids, they're lucky to get a used pair of shoes. And that's why I got involved in this, is because it's not that I think anyone deserves anything, but it makes my heart sad to think that there's kids out there that they've got no parents, and their big joy is to have a meal that includes meat and to get some used shoes. These are the things I've seen over the course of 8 months that I've been working with Ndafuna Johnson out there trying to get this done. So please go to hope.freetalklive.com. I've got several different ways you can donate there. It's hope.freetalklive.com. And, give as though you live in the, one of the wealthiest places on earth, and that you want to help somebody who hasn't got crap. And we've been getting donations from $5 on up to, very good-sized donations, $500, $1,000, things like that.
And they'll be tripled.
And those will be tripled now. The $500 and the $1,000 donations were back before the tripling occurred.
Okay.
So now, these things are going to have a lot more power. Right. But I needed to do the announcements and those sorts of things previously. I didn't know that Get Sell 411 and Jax.io were going to be interested in matching these funds.
No, they heard you talking about it. And
they wanted to match the funds, and they want to show, and they want to see that other people think that it's a good idea too. So please go to hope.freetalklive.com and show them that you think it is too.
All right, let's go to Skype, where Bob is on the line in Acapulco, Mexico. Hello, Bob.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, great. What's on your mind tonight?
Tell me first, am I on camera?
Well, we're doing radio, so it doesn't really matter. So, no, we're not seeing you.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I knew what was happening.
Okay.
So I'm here tonight to talk with you about Morpheus, my friend Morpheus.
This is the guy, not the movie character, but the guy who was arrested recently, as of several weeks ago maybe, in Phoenix, Arizona, allegedly for doing Bitcoin trading.
Well, that's not what the excuse was initially. I mean, here's what I know about the series of events from someone in that area. So someone who's still living there and is very familiar with what went on. As you may know, Morpheus uses local Bitcoins to let people know where they can buy and sell Bitcoins. And he's been doing this for a couple of years. He has a very good reputation. I've known him since 2005. He's a very, very honest, simple, straightforward man who loves his freedom. Yep. And because of that, there have been all kinds of cops harassing him and in various ways ever since I've known him. He's just such an easy target because he's so free. Wow. Anyway, so he's been making a living buying and selling Bitcoins, and he has a policy that he will not buy or sell to someone who is known to him to be involved in some kind of illegal operation, like a drug dealer. He will not. If someone says, "Oh, I'm trying to launder my drug money," he'll literally stand up, turn around, and walk away.
I would presume that person is an undercover police officer if they decide to share that kind of information,
or just a dumbass.
Well, that's another possibility, but you could be repeating yourself.
Well, there was a guy in Florida 6 months ago, roughly, who was arrested because he sold Bitcoins through local Bitcoins. He met with someone and sold them Bitcoins after they told him that they were making their money illegally.
Right.
Now, I have predicted for a long time that this was going to happen, but basically, I know from Morpheus and I have been really good friends for a really long time. And I know that he wouldn't make a deal with someone he knew was making the money illegally because it would make him vulnerable. And in fact, since he was arrested back on April the 20th, there have been two more cases come to my awareness, one in Louisiana and one in Michigan, of other people who found customers for Bitcoins through local Bitcoins who have been arrested.
Yes. I've seen some of these stories as well, and they haven't included the same allegations as you mentioned with that Florida case. Maybe, there are some facts in that case that we're not aware of because we're just getting the most basic of overviews from the news media that's reporting on them. But none of those other cases have cited, this person was selling to a known drug user or drug dealer or something like that. They're not saying that.
Well, he was charged, I believe, with money laundering. And apparently, in order to be a money launderer, others are being charged with illegal money transmitters.
Right.
They're unlicensed money transmitters.
Which is a legal term, and the definition is somewhat nebulous. But, generally a money transmitter is usually considered someone like a Western Union who accepts money from one person to then transmit that money to another person, which is not what you're doing on local Bitcoins.
No.
Hang on, Bob. I'm sure you got more to say about this, and maybe you know the latest in the Morpheus case, whether he's still in jail and all that. Can you stick with us, Bob?
Sure.
All right, we're with Bob. He's in Acapulco, Mexico. Beautiful place to be. We had the pleasure of going down there for an Acapulco earlier this year. Mark and I did. 855-450 free is our toll-free number. 855-450-3733. You can join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free and join us on the radio waves here, the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. Been a crypto-centric, crypto-focused show here tonight, talking about the future of Bitcoin. A lot in the first hour. If you missed our interview with Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com, you can always grab it later on tonight over at freetalklive.com when the archives go up for you for free.
We all know that we need vitamins and minerals to stay healthy, but there are three other classes of nutrients that are essential for maintaining health. In fact, when it comes to supplements, some experts feel that these other three nutrients are needed more than vitamins and minerals. The other three nutrients are probiotics, enzymes, and antioxidants. And the reason that they're so important is that the modern American diet has virtually eliminated regular sources of these nutrients from our meals. If it's absolutely the truth. The problem is that as many people turn to supplements to supply these 5 essential nutrients, they find that they're all sold separately, and it's expensive and time-consuming to get them all. But one product, Whole Food Multi-Complete, has simplified the situation. Whole Food Multi-Complete combines these 5 critical nutrients along with the additional immune and bone support nutrients into a single product. In fact, for the past 15 years, Whole Food Multi-Complete is the only product to offer this. So instead of spending a fortune buying 5 different products every month, check out the full supplement program offered by Whole Food Multi-Complete. With 54 total ingredients, it's guaranteed to be the cheapest way to acquire all these nutrients, and it also comes with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Hear that? 100%. 30% off with the coupon code FTL on your first order. If you get more than $60 worth, shipping's free. It's basically a cost for them. But go ahead on over there and order now. SimplifyMySupplements.com and use coupon code FTL.
All right, let's go back to Bob in Acapulco, Mexico. He's on via Skype, updating us on the latest on the Morpheus arrest. And we're talking about Morpheus, who is not a character in The Matrix, but perhaps named after that character. This Morpheus is an activist in the Phoenix, Arizona area who actually is connected with our friend Ernest Hancock over at Freedom's Phoenix. We talk about Freedom's Phoenix from time to time here on Free Talk Live, great libertarian news site. Morpheus was one of the technical admins who was behind the scenes on that site. So I didn't know him personally, but he was fairly close to us, just because we know people who know him. And, of course, you know him well, Bob. So what's the latest on his case? They arrested him for operating a illegal money services business or something like that.
We don't know that.
We don't know that. Okay.
We can surmise that, but here's what happened. He was doing business with a customer and went to meet them at a restaurant and arrived for the appointment and was arrested. Now, I don't know if he was arrested before or after selling or buying some Bitcoins with that customer, but he was arrested. And then after he was arrested, and we still don't know the probable cause behind that arrest, but after that, a SWAT team, a federal SWAT team, raided his apartment. Okay?
Wow.
Ripped it to hell. Someone that I know that knows Morpheus went over and was on the parking lot talking with some of the officials there and picked up that the feds had been monitoring his telephone for some time. And of course, he was well known on local Bitcoins. And it seems that local Bitcoins has become the target, that people who who do the most business and have the best reputation on local Bitcoins are being targeted in Florida, in Arizona, in Michigan, in Louisiana, and I'm betting pretty much soon everywhere. Because I predicted 2 years ago when I wrote an article on this subject called Bitcoin, the New Free Market. I wrote this and posted it on titanians.org. In that article, I predicted that eventually the U.S. government, with the cooperation of other governments, would attempt to make dealing in Bitcoins illegal. And that meant that, of course, the anyone who wasn't licensed as a money transmitter, watch out. You want to privately buy or sell Bitcoins. Now, understand, we're talking about buying and selling long strings of alphanumeric characters.
This is basically like buying and selling free speech. I mean, you're buying a thing that exists, that is on the internet, a thing of text, or as you pointed out, a string of characters. You're essentially buying and reselling those things.
Right.
And actually, you're right. I just pulled up the federal PACER system. That's the court case system for the federal government, pacer.gov. And I had forgotten that detail about this case. Is they've charged him with felon in possession of ammunition or a firearm, not operating an unlicensed money transmitter or unlicensed money services business.
They didn't find the ammunition. They didn't find the ammunition until they got to his apartment, long after they arrested him.
Right. They were searching for evidence that they might use in the future, so they had a warrant to look for evidence about operating an unlicensed money, services business. And
like
so presumably that investigation is continuing while they then apparently allegedly found some ammunition or firearms and have charged him with felon in possession.
A handful of ammunition, no guns. Okay, there were no guns in the house, just a handful of ammunition that he probably had forgotten he even had.
But here's the thing about this is that, okay, so money transmitter generally means buying or accepting money from person A to give to person B. That's what a Western Union or some other company like that would do. Then there's also this more nebulous term, money services business. So somebody who cashes a check, for instance, would, as a business, would be a money services business. There's a bunch of different things that that define a money services business. And one of those things, from what I've seen, is exchanging currencies. So if you are a currency exchanger and you do that as a business, then that makes you a money services business. This is my understanding. I'm not an attorney of what the statutes or the criminal code or whatever the U.S. code it's called says. And the thing about it is, according to what I understood from this, the definition of a currency exchanger is somebody who exchanges the currencies of other countries. So Bitcoin is not a national currency. It is, as you pointed out, technology. It is a digital product, basically, that is, in my opinion, should not qualify for that. What do you think, Bob?
As a matter of fact, the U.S. government has waffled back and forth all along for years now on whether Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency is money. And generally, it's not treated as money in law.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask.
Right. The thing is the government loves they're going to call it a commodity when it's convenient for them to call it a commodity, and they're going to call it money when it's convenient for them to call it money because they can do that. And then they go into your house looking for more information on it, find the fact
all
that
your stuff.
Some ex-roommate left some ammunition hidden in some spot, a handful of ammunition, and then they charge you with felon in possession of a firearm.
Right.
It's insane.
Yes. The whole system is insane. I totally agree with that.
And Bob, regarding the article you wrote and the predictions you made, and hearkening back to our discussion with Roger Ver, one can only assume that a segregated witness settlement layer and bundling transactions together, Bitcoin transactions that is, and having them controlled by a relatively small group of exchanges and so forth is going to make the whole Bitcoin system more vulnerable to governments around the world. Because, when it's just you and Mark, like you were saying, when it's every individual citizen holding their gold coins, trading the gold coins amongst each other, then it's infinitely almost more difficult for a state to control you. But when you've got all the goldsmiths centralizing the transactions, then it becomes a lot easier.
Well, I like to think of what Morpheus was doing as being like an itinerant silversmith who buys silver in the raw, adds value to it by altering it in some way, and then sells it at a profit.
Yeah, I think he's doing the right thing. He's helping connect people with Bitcoin. And Bob, would you do us a favor and keep us in the loop as this case continues to develop? It sounds like you're fairly close to the source, and we'd love to continue getting updates from you. Could you do that?
Before you let me go, let me do one more thing with you here. I am soliciting donations for Morpheus's defense.
Okay, tell us about that in a moment. We're going to continue more with Bob. Your calls and thoughts are welcome here on Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Do you need a website for your blog or new business? It can be pretty intimidating on your own, and that's why Free Talk Live has partnered with HostGator, one of the top hosting companies. HostGator offers a simple one-click, easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive, user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation back into your hands. Go to HostGator.com/FTL, and you'll get 50% off of their regular hosting prices. 50% off. HostGator.com/FTL.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Yeah!
This is Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition of the program. As always, you can bring up whatever you want. We're talking about Morpheus, the real-life Morpheus, this one from Phoenix, Arizona, who was arrested just over a month ago in an investigation surrounding his business, supposedly, with local Bitcoins, a website that allows people to connect with one another to buy or sell Bitcoins. The more traditional way to purchase Bitcoins is to go through some sort of centralized exchange where you have to give up a lot of personal information in order for them to, know who they're dealing with or whatever. And local Bitcoins, you're just dealing with another human being. And there is a centralization factor in that you're on this website called Local Bitcoins. But ultimately, it's the buyers and the sellers who come to the agreement on what sort of terms they have and what kind of identification they'll require, for instance. So they've come after this guy, Morpheus. They raided his home. They raided his business, as I understand it. They took a bunch of his stuff. They arrested him after they discovered that he allegedly possessed some ammunition. He's now facing up to a 10-year sentence in federal prison because of that. And we've got Bob on the line with us, calling from Acapulco, Mexico. Morpheus has yet to be charged with anything in relation to the Bitcoins, but they presumably are doing that investigation as time goes on. And as we've seen, they do tend to take their sweet time with some of these investigations. Meanwhile, he is facing the what sounds like another felony charge. It's not clear to me. If you're going to get 10 years, it's probably another felony for the alleged possession of the ammunition. And that trial is slated for early June. So that's at least the latest according to
Excuse me. That
Pacer.
has changed.
Okay,
that
go
has
ahead.
Changed.
Yeah.
And the reason it's changed, we are told, is because they are putting some other charges together.
Oh, boy.
They decided that it would take them another 60 days. So now his court date is in August, and he's cooling his heels in a federal facility some 90 minutes outside of Phoenix.
Yep, you're right. I see that here, August 1st.
Have they offered bail?
No, they won't let him bail.
Wow.
They say he's a flight risk, but I know for a fact that he's not. He's got lots of family and lots of friends in that area. He's not about...
What's the evidence that he's a flight risk?
I have no idea.
They said so.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I wasn't there. I'm down here in Acapulco hearing about this all secondhand.
Right.
But I'm getting out there publicly because I see this as a point at which it's necessary to draw a line in the sand. If we don't defend him adequately, the whole Bitcoin private transaction business is going to come under fire. And if they're not, when they're through with him, they'll be coming after us.
Yeah, absolutely. And these other guys that have been arrested have taken plea deals. So far, it doesn't really seem like anybody has actually fought the feds on this, which, of course, is hard to ask anyone to do, considering that, when you fight the feds, if you actually stand up for yourself and they win, they then hit you with the hardest sentence possible in most cases. And so most people have the incentive to just go ahead and take the plea deal, even if they don't believe that they were liable under these money transmitter laws or money services businesses laws.
Here's the thing that I can't forget, and that is that Morpheus has not ever committed, at least since I've known him, he's never committed a crime. What he was doing, whether it's owning ammunition or selling or buying Bitcoins, there's no victim.
Right.
Without a victim, there's no crime. And if they accuse him of a crime, it's what they're doing that's fraudulent, and they're going to keep doing it unless someone draws a line in the sand. And I'm raising money to try to mount a defense. There are some good lawyers who would be willing to do it, but it's going to cost a lot.
Now, have you talked to him about this? Is that what he wants?
Well, I haven't been able to talk to him since he was arrested, but I've talked to people close to him, and I'm quite sure that if he were given a choice, would you like people to raise money and come to your defense, or would you not? I'm sure he'd rather be defended.
Sure, but the question is, I don't want to jump to a conclusion unless I know exactly what the activist wants. Some people do want to just take the plea deal, in which case, then you're just paying for an attorney to hold his hand through a plea deal.
I don't think that he's going to take a plea deal.
Okay.
I'm he's never backed down from these thugs with black gowns in the past, and he's always been squashed because they're the ones with the guns and the clubs and the tasers and all that crap, and I've actually witnessed him being handcuffed, beaten, tased, and hauled away to a cage for having not done anything except to mouth off a bit because he was unhappy with the way he was being treated.
How does one contribute to this fundraiser, Bob?
Okay. On the website, titanians.org, TITANIANS.org, there is my most recent post. It's called My Friend Morpheus. Mm-hmm. And on that post, there is a link, or an address, I should say, for a PayPal contribution. And there's also a Bitcoin address. And I'm accepting both, and I'll see that they get where they're most needed.
Thank you for doing what you're doing with this fundraising and making people aware of his case, because I agree with you. This is an important case. I would say it's right up there with Ross Ulbricht, especially if they charge Morpheus with these money transmitter related so-called crimes.
I have no doubt they're going to, and my expectation is that the so-called customer was someone who accepted a plea deal after they arrested him for doing drugs or something, and he accepted a plea deal which involved doing this sting on Morpheus.
Could be. Sometimes the customers are just direct undercover cops, and they will set up the person on more than one occasion. If you look at the documents in the other cases, you'll see that
either way.
Yeah, you'll see that.
Either way, it's a case of entrapment.
Yeah.
And he's doing something perfectly legal, and they're making a case against him for it.
Yeah, it's a disturbing story, especially considering they've gotten away with it so far in a few other occasions.
I'm surprised it's even legal to use the ammunition as a as a charge when they haven't brought him anything against him for the Bitcoin stuff.
That's right. Exactly.
You could argue it's fruit of the poison tree.
That's right. I have yet, I heard that there's a probable cause against him for having ammunition, but I have yet to hear there was probable cause for the initial arrest.
Yeah.
And without that probable cause, all of the evidence that came afterward has to be inadmissible in court.
And I wonder if there's an aspect to this where a felon knowingly possesses.
It's knowingly in this statute, yeah.
Yeah, so knowingly possesses, and that's going to be difficult to say. If Morpheus has had a roommate in the last,
he had a roommate.
Right.
The roommate left in November. Came down here.
Right. So, I mean, all you have to do is have a situation where he says, it looks like the roommate left some of his ammunition. I didn't know it was there. Now prove I did.
Right.
That's a pretty tough thing to prove.
It's a very weak case they're trying to make against him.
Well, that's what the feds do. They'll beat you up. They don't go to trial. They don't want trials. They lose at trials. They want they just want to keep you in jail till you give up and make a plea bargain. And it's done over and over again. The criminal justice system in America, and I mean on the local, state, and federal level, is so messed up that there's nothing that even resembles justice anymore. People that want to see more people in prison don't have any clue what they're talking about.
Right.
Bob, anything else you want to share about this tonight?
Well, I'm grateful to you guys for having me on and letting me sound off about this situation. I am very, very, very perturbed, even though I predicted this 2 years ago. You go find my article on titanians.org about the new Bitcoin, the new free market, and I say very explicitly, they're going to try to make it illegal eventually, because they cannot tolerate the growth of it as it's now going. They're noticing, and
and it's going to take power. It is taking power out of their hands, and they certainly can't stand for that without a fight.
I think that what they're doing here is they're trying to make sure that everybody uses the sort of legit and above-board exchanges where they basically can track who buys what Bitcoins. That's what their concern is.
I'll go beyond that and say if they get their way, they will create a world in which it is impossible for anyone to communicate value from one person to another without their getting a piece of it.
Yeah, that's what they want.
That's what I think is going on. That's what it's all about. They don't have, for example, they don't have a moral case against drug trafficking, but they don't like competition. Friggin' government.
You nailed it, Bob. Thanks for the call tonight from down there in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Appreciate hearing from you. And please keep us in the loop as this develops. That's Bob down there in Acapulco. And you can join us here toll free at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Hour number 3 is coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
Everyone has something in their lives or just about themselves that they want to change, from trying to lose weight to becoming more motivated at work. Change is difficult, but the good news is no matter what, you don't have to go through it alone. Hypnotherapy can help you remove negative subconscious thoughts that keep you from achieving your goals. Never rely on just willpower again. Contact us at afterhourshypnotherapy.com today for your free consultation. Or contact Melvin Marsh at 678-658-8483.
Bitcoin.com recently reported Bitcoin transaction fees have increased by more than 1,200% since 2015. To many Bitcoin proponents, the current fee market is moving way too fast, making Bitcoin unusable for certain transactions. The fee market and slow confirmation times have also increased the tension concerning the block size debate. However, if there are wallets with low amounts of Bitcoin that can't cover the fees, they become virtually unspendable. Learn more at news.bitcoin.com. That's news.bitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, May 28th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.35 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,267 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,267. Antiwar.com reports the Iraqi Air Force says it has dropped hundreds of thousands of leaflets over the remaining parts of Old Mosul held by the Islamic State, urging the civilian population within to flee en masse for their own safety and suggesting a military offensive against those neighborhoods was imminent. Iraq has struggled for months with its offensive against the densely populated Old City, trying to limit the civilian death toll for fear of a backlash, and has been clearly regretting its warnings earlier in the invasion of Mosul that civilians ought not attempt to flee. Even getting civilians out of Mosul poses more problems since there was no official effort to make serious provisions for refugees beforehand, and the camps set up by private aid groups and those set up by the UN have already mostly been filled up. On top of that, the Islamic State has reportedly been trying to prevent mass civilian flight from their territory, as depopulating its neighborhoods would place fewer restrictions on invading forces. Since civilians have been shot trying to flee those areas, the leaflets may be reckless in and of themselves, as they encourage locals to take serious risk for the sake of war. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge on Friday dismissed a wrongful death suit against Hillary Clinton filed by the parents of 2 of the Americans killed in Benghazi. The lawsuit was filed in August during the heat of the presidential campaign. It alleges Clinton's use of a private email server caused the attack that killed 4 Americans, including Christopher J. Stevens, the U.S. ambassador to Libya. Clinton was Secretary of State in 2012 when the attack happened. One of the plaintiffs, Patricia Smith, whose son Sean Smith was among the people killed, delivered a searing indictment of Clinton at the RNC, saying the Democrats failed to protect her son and then lied to cover up how he died. The lawsuit linked Clinton's private email server with the Benghazi incident, despite there was no evidence Clinton's email server had anything to do with causing the Benghazi attack. In her decision, U.S. District Court Judge Amy Berman Jackson said the question of whether Clinton's email was used appropriately was not relevant to the case. In her 29-page opinion, Jackson wrote, "The court finds that Secretary Clinton was acting in the scope of her employment when she transmitted the emails that are alleged to give rise to her liability. The untimely deaths of plaintiff's son is tragic, and the court does not mean to minimize the unspeakable loss the plaintiffs have suffered in any way, but when one applies the appropriate legal standard, it is clear that the plaintiffs have not alleged sufficient facts to rebut the presumption that Secretary Clinton was acting in her official capacity when she used her private email server." Jackson also dismissed a related claim that Clinton defamed the parents by lying about them in the press. When the parents offered a different recollection of their meeting with Clinton after the attack, she told reporters the parents had not properly recalled the details of their conversation. Jackson said the discrepancies did not amount to libel and could have originated due to a simple misunderstanding. Jackson noted Secretary Clinton did not refer to the plaintiffs as liars. Plaintiffs may find the candidate's statements in her own defense to be unpleasant or offensive, but Secretary Clinton did not portray plaintiffs as odious, infamous, or ridiculous. To the contrary, statements portray plaintiffs as normal parents grieving over the loss of their loved ones. A lawyer for Clinton declined comment on the judge's ruling. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Bitcoin Not Bombs. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's The Onion Radio News. The nation's last remaining themeless restaurant has closed. This is Doyle Redland reporting. A once vibrant era came to an end today when Pat's Place, the nation's last themeless restaurant, closed its doors in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. During the heyday of themeless restaurants, Pat's Place achieved a certain amount of notoriety for its unique non-themed food items and unadorned atmosphere. But according to owner Patrick Baines, the times have changed.
Lately, we've had only a handful of people coming in to gawk at our posterless walls and mundanely named menu items like hamburgers or pancakes, and then they go someplace like the Rainforest Cafe or Johnny Rockets to actually eat.
Plans are now in the works to convert the Pat's Place location into Cedar Rapids' 7th Patty-O Touchdown sports bar and good time internet grill. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of the live Sunday edition of the program. As always, you can join us here toll-free and bring up anything that's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Tonight with you in the studio, it's Ian.
Johnny Ray.
And Mark.
Still to come, we got to talk about economics in one lesson. We're way behind, as we sort of are perennially on this book. It's a great book when we do get around to talking about it. We've been doing it chapter by chapter. We're overdue to talk about Chapter 16, which is about price controls, and hopefully we can get into that coming up here in a bit. But your calls and thoughts come first. Chapter 17, actually, is what we're going to be talking about here tonight. But yeah, Ian, Johnny, Ray, and Mark in the studio. To the phones, to the fun. Let's start out with Brian in Tennessee. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Brian.
Hey, how's it going tonight, fellas?
What's on your mind, Brian?
Okay. I've been doing Uber Eats since the first of the year. I find it a great part-time thing. I'm using it to fatten up my 401k. You know, I'm mid-50s. But recently,
Uber Eats, just for listeners that don't know, this is for listeners that are unfamiliar, Uber, of course, probably well known as a ride-sharing company. It operates in dozens of markets all around the globe. But this Uber Eats is a division of Uber where you're not delivering people from point A to point B. You're picking up food from some restaurant and then delivering it to its intended recipient. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
And there are some places, you know, that puts me in mind back of I've been listening to y'all for a long time. I mean, there was some lady down in Georgia that was cooking food, you know, and they were harassing her. But where I live, it's pretty much they're letting people cook wherever they can and pick it up wherever they can.
All right.
But my reason for calling is they changed their terms of service, and the part I understand is they want to make as much money as possible.
As Uber's
and I understand as a contract.
Sorry about that.
And I understand as a contract worker, I'm not an employee. I mean, if they say that's what they're going to pay me, and I decide to accept that, I can deal with that.
So what did they do? Reduce the payouts?
No. The payout isn't reduced anymore. They take away the unnecessary task of having to look at what they actually took out. I mean, they're cut out of all of it. Which is where we are right now. What brings me to this?
So they're not, just to clarify, they're not showing you the full amount of the sale. You're only getting to see what you take away. You don't get to see what the customer paid.
Right, exactly. But
Okay.
I can still deal with that. I mean, in the free market, that's the way some transactions work. I can deal with that.
So you're getting paid. Let's make sure we're kind of on the same page here and we understand how this works. You're driving, you go to a place, you pick up the order for the customer. Has the customer already paid for the order, or do you have to pay for it, and then the customer pays it back?
The customer's already paid for the order.
Okay.
And this but this part right here doesn't have anything to do with food. It's actually got to do with people. But you know, once you're in the organization, you're in the organization. It's just a different department.
Mm-hmm.
They've set up a system where by where you live, pretty much demographics and all of the other stuff that they've got an idea of how much you will pay for that service to be picked up for that ride or whatever.
Right.
And so you might be one place in one neighborhood and they'll charge you, say, it'll be a $25 ride, you know, to go from here to the airport. But if you're in another neighborhood, no matter what the distance, it might be an entirely higher or lower cost.
Interesting. Okay.
And so basically, the customer is shown one route that, you know, to get them there, you know, and what else? And the driver's shown another route. The driver's shown the shorter route, and of course, the customer's shown the longer route. Which, of course, I understand. That's the difference between, you know, that's your profit margin. I understand all that. It's just
that seems kind of shifty.
Yeah, that seems pretty nasty to me.
Going on, that doesn't seem very.
I don't think it's
understandable.
okay to lie to your customers. You know.
No, and there's been this huge. Well, I won't say huge because this is the gig market, so you don't know exactly how many people are out there with it, but you know the numbers. They say Uber has millions of drivers because they can only keep 4% of them. But but you know, there's some type of strike going on, or delete Uber or whatever to get them to change to up the terms of service or whatever for more of the money.
Was this that thing we were talking about? It sounds familiar because I remember we talked about a hashtag delete Uber. That was when people were upset because Uber, you know, sort of they want to have contractors, but some of these people want to be employees because they want to get health coverage. They want Uber to take care of them.
No. Hey, I don't want to be their employee. I want to be a contract worker for them because that way, I know y'all hate this word, but hey, at least I can make it work on my taxes. Like I said, I'm using it to fatten up my 401k. Okay. By the time you put $6K in there for the 401k and you write off all your other expenses as a contractor, it pays for itself. So at least if you do it part time and you're my age, I wouldn't say if you're doing it full time. Yeah, you're out there busting your butt, and hey, that's the cost of being in business. And they're thinking, like you said, employees. Like, well, how come they don't take care of this for me? No, you're in business for yourself when you do
it's a
this.
problem with the mindset of the people who are complaining and working for Uber in this case. They're used to being taken care of by companies because that's what the government has forced employers to do. And so when they're finally out striking out on their own and responsible for themselves, their reaction in these people's cases is to demand that their situation be similar to what they've always had, rather than going out and just learning for themselves how to get health insurance or whatever it is that they're looking for. But that's a whole other issue. So what specifically on the Uber Eats thing did you want to, was there something else you wanted to share about it?
Well, no, it wasn't the Eats. It was the terms of service. That basically people they're getting charged by what Uber thinks you will pay and not by the actual route.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, it's
based on their demographics.
It's like if you walk into the pizza joint and they say, well, you'll pay $50 for this pizza. That's what we're going to charge you.
I see what you're saying. Right. And so wouldn't that also encourage the drivers? Because normally when you work for Uber, you get rides or hires based on your vicinity, based on how close you are to the person who needs the service. So wouldn't that encourage the drivers to say hang out in the rich neighborhoods? Because that if somebody's in their mansion, they're more willing to pay a $25 service fee to have a Subway sandwich dropped off at their house than, say, somebody who's living in the ghetto who's not likely going to be willing to pay that much. So it is interesting.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, you get just as many deliveries to the ghetto. Hey, these people they got to eat, and it goes back to that. God, I wish I could remember the lady's name. She was down in Georgia. She was frequently on your show a few years ago.
It was Mama
Yeah,
Allie.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Mama Allie was in Nashville, Tennessee right now, she'd be making a fortune because it's just too easy with the Uber Eats. You can order food from anywhere, and if it's worth the price, people will order from one side of town to the other all day.
That's amazing. I'm glad that it's working out for you, Brian, and thanks for calling to share that with us tonight. We appreciate it. By the way, in the other Uber-related news, we actually haven't talked about Uber in quite a while. Whatever the headlines have been, they haven't come across Free Talk Live, and we were pretty fascinated by this for a while, and it still is interesting to watch as they continue to fight it out with these various governments around the country. According to Fortune magazine, Uber and Lyft are coming back to Austin. This, according to, I guess, is a pretty fresh story. Yeah, posted today. So starting tomorrow, ride-hailing platforms Uber and Lyft are expected to return to operations in Austin Monday, when Texas Governor Greg Abbott will sign a bill likely overturning the state capital's strict driver screening rules. It's unclear, however, what kind of reception the companies can expect after winning a dirty fight with one of the country's largest, most influential, and most cantankerous cities. Both Uber and Lyft, as you may recall if you were listening, ceased operations in Austin last year because of those rules, which were first implemented in late 2015. A particular sticking point was a requirement that all drivers be fingerprinted, a rule which applies to other professional drivers in the city, but which Uber and Lyft described as burdensome. And they said, all right, well, we'll just leave town. And that's what they did. And now it looks like the state government might be overturning that particular rule. So it's nice to see that Uber and Lyft didn't break on this one. They held firm, and they're getting their territory back. More coming up.
Warning, if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears, because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt, too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now, 1-800-660-1581. That's 1-800-660-1581. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey Guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products, most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial on in toll free and bring up whatever you want. It's the live Sunday edition, and as always, you can dial up at toll free number 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
And you don't need money to do business on Simbi.com. It's a slick and easy to use marketplace where you can trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy. It's Simbi.com, S-I-M-B-I, Simbi.com. You won't believe the diversity of the services available at Simbi.com. Hundreds of thousands of people like you are acting within the symbiotic economy. Go get your account at Simbi.com. Take a look around and post your services. Simbi.com. As we continue, we'll go to your calls and thoughts. Then coming up, we got economics in one lesson, hopefully. It's Scott in Massachusetts. You're on Free Talk Live listening to WBNW in Concord. Go ahead, Scott.
Good evening, Mark, Ian, and Jonny Ray. Tonight's message, I'd like to discuss America's veterans. I honor America's veterans. Monday, tomorrow, May 29th, 2017, is Memorial Day, as you know. It is also the 100th anniversary of John F. Kennedy's birth. I will not talk about John F. Kennedy because he was a gigolo while president and he had no morals. In Massachusetts, John F. Kennedy is
John
a god.
F. Kennedy was a gigolo? That's a new
And while he was
allegation.
president, he most certainly was. Yes, he had women brought into the White House.
He was paid for sex?
No. He was getting Marilyn Monroe. He was a sex machine. That's what he was.
Well, that's different
Let's
than
be
being
honest.
a gigolo. You understand that, right? A gigolo is a man who is paid for sexual, interactions.
Well, people will often
anyway,
call people who are promiscuous a can I say the W word?
Whore?
Yes,
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is synonymous with a
He
prostitute.
was still a veteran. He was a war hero, so I thank him for his service. But to me, America's veterans are the very best and most noble human beings that America can ever produce.
Why?
Because they give the ultimate to their country. They fight. They serve America. They
Why is that
sacrifice
noble?
life and limb.
They're doing the dirty work of politicians who are the least noble of people.
I agree. It's always
how
the
is it?
poor
How
that
can
have
one
to
be
fight for the rich.
noble when one is doing dirty work for scum?
I think one can be brave, courageous, have a good heart, these kinds of things. I suppose you can have a noble heart, noble intentions.
As you drop bombs on innocent people?
Well, I think that if you believe that is the right thing to do, sure, it's a noble intention.
But shouldn't you know better? I mean, shouldn't most people know that politicians are scum of the earth?
Absolutely. When you send a kid for 13 years to government school, and then at the end of that government school, they go to work for the government, absolutely.
They've been brainwashed.
They should know better, but they don't because they've spent 14 years, in government schools. No wonder. There's no organization on the planet that has such good indoctrination as the
That's
politicians in Washington, D.C. and capitals around the world.
And they've got a solid recruiting plan. I mean, get them while they're young, right?
I'd like to if I could, finish my. It won't take long. My father served during the Korean War, and my uncle during World War II. Those were the days when patriotism in America was at its zenith, and sacrifice was a badge of honor. But unfortunately, those days are gone forever, and will never return. Today, America does not even know what patriotism is, and America does not value patriotism anymore.
Isn't
but only
patriotism the same thing that's always been? Blind devotion to one's government?
Yes, it is, and I'm going to get to that.
Well, that's
our God
not a
is
value.
the almighty
That's...
dollar, and the gist of it is this, gentlemen, is that America is not worth fighting and dying for anymore. I'm not going to. That's what the point I'm trying to make.
I'll agree with you on that much, but I don't think it ever
they're
was.
Fighting for greedy. They're fighting. I know you got annoyed at me, Mark, but I'm going to be honest.
You got to back
They're
off that
fighting for
phone,
greedy.
dude. You need to get a new phone, really, honestly, because this one's pretty bad.
They're fighting for greedy international.
It's not that much better.
Jewish Wall Street bankers, not all of them are Jews, but most of them are. They're fighting for greedy and evil politicians. They're fighting for big oil, Exxon Mobil. They're fighting for big pharma.
So isn't the best thing that you can do now? Look, we disagree
anymore. I've lost all faith in America. That's what I'm telling you.
Look, Scott.
I don't have faith in America
you and I disagree on you're a racist, but we separate ways on that. But I do agree with your general viewpoint that America, the government more specifically, the U.S. federal government is not worth fighting for, and it has never been worth fighting for in my lifetime. They do not do honest things, and they didn't do them in the past either. I mean, they murdered Indians. They've done all kinds of horrific things, and fighting for a criminal gang is not an honorable thing to do. I understand that people believe that there's some honor in it, and that in the moment of their fight, they might do something honorable, like save one of their buddies or save some kid from a burning village or whatever, unless, of course, they're the ones who torched the village in the first place, which isn't unheard of. But regardless, I'm with you on that much. Gentlemen, you want to comment? Jonny Ray is actually formerly of the military.
Johnny Ray is a veteran. Are you going to take you into task
I thank you for your service.
No, I think that for the most part, sacrifice is for I think that our heroes were well-meaning dupes.
I agree.
And these days, I think technology is taking us forward, and I think that people don't have that 1950s mindset where everything is for the state and for the flag, where we've got new media telling us really some of the dreadful things that our state and every other state around the world is doing. I think the collectivism and communism is losing its grip on the world, and ultimately, I'm excited for the future. As a veteran, I was duped, but I was looking
How old were you when you
for
joined?
20.
Okay.
Well, I think I was 19.
Okay.
What war were you in, Jonny Ray?
I was I was not in a war. I was in between Desert Shield, and I got out right before Desert Storm. So I was very lucky. But while I was in, I was really looking. I was bored sitting on my butt. I wanted there to be a war that I could go to and gain some glory.
Thank goodness that didn't happen.
Yeah, I would have because I'm such an idiot. I would have got my nuts shot off, and I would have gotten somebody else killed. So I'm glad I didn't go to war.
You know what gets me very angry? Donald Trump's children. I assure you, they would never be called up for a draft.
No, of course not.
And none of these politicians would either, their children. So it is a double standard. It's a double sword. And Ian, I want to give you an explanation. Now, yes, you've been fair to me, and I've been an anti-Semite on your airwaves. I want you to tell you why I'm an anti-Semite. On September 15th, 2008, I had my broker call me, and I had $190,000 swindled from me when Lehman Brothers went under. Richard Fuld was the disgraced CEO. He destroyed Lehman Brothers. I blame Jews for my loss of my money, Ian.
Well, that's ridiculous, because if you want to blame somebody, you should blame whichever individuals were in charge of losing your money.
A small handful of people that swindled you happen to be a certain ethnicity. That doesn't mean you go after the whole ethnicity. Now, I told you that I found out relatively recently that I've got some Jewish ancestry. Is it my fault that you had Lehman Brothers, something to do with Lehman Brothers, you swindle $190,000?
No, it's not. But let me tell you something. Richard Fuld, I don't know if you ever heard of him before.
Yeah, I've heard the name. I saw.
He's living in a mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut. He's a multi-billionaire, probably a billionaire. He ripped off not only me, but tens of thousands of other investors. He needs to go to prison. He needs to go where Bernie Madoff
is. That going to get your money back?
What's that?
Is that going to get your money back?
No, it's not.
Probably not.
But it would give me some satisfaction.
Right. Scott, hold on. Thank you for the call tonight. We can talk to you another night. We got other folks who want to get on here, but I'm going to get you a different phone line. We'll see if we can get a clearer connection for the future. More coming up.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Teens radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com. Click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting. That's AGORIST hosting.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Foodforliberty.com sells high-quality, storable foods from Numana. And right now, take advantage of our summer special. Purchase 2 family packs and we'll send you a Pro Pure Water Pitcher, a $70 value, free. This premium pitcher is ideal for use with just about any water source and removes more contaminants than other brands. And it comes with a filter that lasts up to 2 full years. Whether you need to be prepared in the event of an emergency, you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, Numana is known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, super nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. And with a 25-year shelf life, you can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. Go to foodforliberty.com right now for great-tasting, high-quality, storable foods from Numana. Buy 2 family packs and get the Pro Pure Water Pitcher free. It makes good sense to be prepared. Get it at foodforliberty.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free right here to bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight in the studio, it's Ian.
Jonny Ray.
And Mark.
And so health insurance, it's a pretty messed up situation in the United States, but Mark, it turns out you don't have to have it.
You don't have to have health insurance. You can be part of a health sharing organization. HealthExcellenceSelect.com really makes it very, very easy to participate that way, because not only do they give you, coverage isn't the right term, but help you to defer the costs of your medical care by sharing with other people, but you also can get from them a daily health assessment if you want it. No charge 24-hour access to doctors. A medical information card that you can give to other providers, because of HIPAA, they don't really communicate very well. They don't know what you've got and all that other stuff. This really cuts down. What they intend to do is to make you healthier. They don't want to treat your sickness. They want to make you healthy. HealthExcellenceSelect.com. You'll love the service and the price, because, man, like less than $600 to cover a family. HealthExcellenceSelect.com. Per month, I should say.
We're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts. You can bring up anything you want. Daryl is on the line in Albuquerque listening to Kiva. Hello, Daryl.
Hey, man, just tuned in. It's a Sunday evening, holiday evening, and I will catch you guys from now on in this time slot, because great show.
Thanks.
I was kind of tunnel vision about a lot of stuff, but you guys are opening up and making me think about it a little bit. And in the earlier session, I'll get right to it, you were talking about Morpheus and the Bitcoin type stuff. That's amazing. I had heard some stuff, but I haven't really heard any talk show people talk about this. I've seen little bits and pieces in the Wall Street Journal and all that sort of stuff. But amazing show, very informative. The question I have for you is, one of you punched in a website for a federal type website that you could find out what cases are pending on and stuff. That was fascinating to me. Would you mind giving me that website again?
It's called PACER, and I forget offhand what the acronym stands for, but PACER.gov. It's the Federal Court Case Lookup System. You register for an account. They do require that you give them credit card information to register for the account. However, they give you your first $15 per quarter year. So every 3 months you have $15 worth of credit that you can use for free. and you can go and look up any old case you want. So, if you want to look up Thomas Costanzo, which is the Morpheus's real name, you can look up his case, or Ross Ulbricht, or whoever it is that's got a case in the federal system, and you can see the full docket. You can see all the filings, with the exception of redacted filings, which do appear occasionally that you can't see. But for the most part, you can get all the motions and all the decisions and orders from the judge in any given case. But the most important thing that you need to know about the PACER system, because it is, again, what they'll do is they charge by the page. So it's 10 cents a page. So if you got a 20-page motion that you want to download, that's a $2 cost. And so it's not hard if you want to look at more than a few cases. It's not hard at all to hit that $15 limit. And obviously, you don't want to give any more money to the federal government than you have to. So staying below that $15 is always a nice thing to do. So there's an interesting tool that some activists came up with called Recap. So anybody that's going to go access the PACER system, before you do that, you need to install the Recap plugin for your Firefox or Chrome browser. Recap is PACER spelled backwards, of course. And what Recap does is whenever you're on PACER and you look up any case, Recap will let you know if it's already in the Recap database. So the idea behind Recap is if a thing that you download, some sort of motion for a court case, is not already, if somebody else with Recap hasn't already downloaded that, you'll download it from the federal PACER system, and PACER will, amount whatever that charge is, say 50 cents or $1 or whatever. And then once you download it, Recap is always watching whenever you're on the PACER site, and Recap will ingest that file into their system. So that way, the next time anybody wants to go and download that file, if they're using the Recap system, you don't have to download it from the feds. Recap will provide it and provide it free of cost. So basically what they're doing is they're using crowdsourcing the hundreds or thousands of people who have this Recap plugin who are accessing whatever various cases on the PACER system. They're essentially crowdsourcing all of those PDF files into a free database, which is maintained by the Recap people. Does that make sense that I explained that understandably?
You know what? That was eruditional, unbelievable. Wow! I just because the light bulb just went off because I had a friend that has a lawyer that just went through law school, and now she's clerking for the New Mexico Supreme Court. And he says now there's some sort of program or government thing that they go to look at all the precedent for and how they get all their case knowledge, and that's how they. And I said, really, a little secret thing, and you just filled in. That was an insight you gave me right there, and very well explicated. Wow,
there you go,
unbelievable job, man. Thank you. I'm going to take that knowledge and employ it tomorrow, and I'll be listening next Sunday. You on every Sunday?
Yeah, we're on
7 days a week.
I know Kiva's got us on some of those times, not all. I don't think all 21 hours, but. Whenever we're on there, thank you for listening. And if you want to listen us online when they don't have us, you can always find us over at freetalklive.com. And Daryl, thanks for your call tonight. Speaking of Kiva, we just happen to have the program director on the line as well. Eddie is on the line, presumably listening to his own station, Kiva, in Albuquerque. Hey, Eddie.
Hey, I did not tell Daryl to call. That's a great call.
Yeah.
And Daryl, we're on every Saturday and Sunday. And I should air you guys. Congratulations, Ian. Number 29 on Talkers.
Thank you.
Number two in your time slot. Did you know that? The only guy that you're behind is Mark Levin.
Oh, yes, I know.
Where did you hear that?
You can count.
Well, because I do the math. That's
right.
Exactly right.
Oh, you mean you were looking at the Talkers list and you deduced it from their top 10.
Look at the last caller just butters him up on what a brilliant guy is, and he's like, I can't even look at the other people on the Talkers list. I don't know how many there are.
So I will tell you though, next time you guys have some sort of anti-Semitic guy who literally is a racist, like the way that guy is. I mean, I don't mind pulling you guys off, though, by the same token. That kind of talk is just total hate. And I have to tell you that I was livid when I heard a guy talk the way that he did and just make this sort of blanket statement about everything. I want to talk to you about something specifically, though, that you guys have been, that Daryl alluded to. And I don't know.
We don't pull, before you go on, we don't take somebody off the air because they have an opinion. We're going to counter that opinion. We're going to talk about those terrible ideas and explain, why they're so bad.
Horrible.
and terrible.
It's so horrible. I couldn't even stand to listen to the guy, to be quite honest. But let me say something. You guys, I want to talk about Bitcoin because you guys have been ahead of the curve on everything. And the Bitcoin is, I don't know where it's gone, but I'm getting all these things in my Facebook feed and news feed, and suddenly everyone's interested in Bitcoin. You guys were interested in Bitcoin from a long time ago.
That's
and
right.
without divulging exactly how much money that you guys have made, Ian, every single time I see that, I have to think that you have made some money, that you've done okay. Can you kind of talk about that just a little bit? Because I think you're ahead of even Wall Street at this point. And some of the things that you're talking about, market analysis, about ways to market your company, small business, trading, new ways of doing business. I really think that this is the future should anything come down. But, even in spite of that, just anything in general, because the Bitcoin stuff, I know you guys have made at least a little bit of money. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So Roger Ver, we had him on in the first hour of the show tonight, and anybody that missed that interview can always go grab it over at freetalklive.com later tonight. He's the proprietor over at bitcoin.com, and we really owe our Bitcoin success, what level of it that we've had, to Roger, because he saw the vision. He dragged us into it, basically, by he was an advertiser of ours for his company Memory Dealers, which is a computer memory manufacturer in Tokyo. So he was advertising with the show for a long time, and then he got into Bitcoin because he heard us talking about it. And we'll tell you the rest of the story if you want to hang. We'll bring it back, Eddie, more in moments here. This is Free Talk Live.
Everyone has something in their lives or just about themselves that they want to change, from trying to lose weight to becoming more motivated at work. Change is difficult, but the good news is no matter what, you don't have to go through it alone. Hypnotherapy can help you remove negative subconscious thoughts that keep you from achieving your goals. Never rely on just willpower again. Contact us at afterhourshypnotherapy.com today for your free consultation. Or contact Melvin Marsh at 678-658-8483.
Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. Buying Bitcoin? Do it here. Want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Our forum is always open and censorship free at forum.bitcoin.com. There's no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. That's why this site is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Florida officials announced today its plan to experiment with new 600-lever voting machines.
The machine operates through a very straightforward process that we think is going to give Floridians the peace of mind that their votes will be counted. The voter turns on the machine using these 30 levers at the top and then enters their names and social security numbers using the alphanumeric levers near the bottom here. Right about now, the voter's going to have to find the two levers on the machine that are exactly identical and pull them at the same time. Then they're going to have to...
The new 22-foot-tall steam-powered machines, which officials are hailing as, quote, the future of voting, each feature over 45 separate panels of levers, along with an intricate series of valves, knobs, cranks, and pumps, all designed to streamline the electoral process.
Now, some of this may seem confusing, but every voter will be given a comprehensive 2,200-page manual when they enter their precinct that will explain exactly what to do.
This is the Onion News Network.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. In these remaining moments, there's enough time for you. If you dial right now, our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. So we're going to get back into the Bitcoin talk here in a moment. We were inquired of by Eddie in New Mexico, actually the program director / owner of Kiva, which is our affiliate down there. We're going to bring him back on. But I do want to let you know about the brand new Free Talk Live, LRN.FM, I guess LRN.FM Patreon, which I launched over the weekend here. You can go to patreon.lrn.fm, and we're trying something new. There was a discussion amongst our Free Talk Live amplifiers, and those are the people who give at least $5 a month to Free Talk Live to help us advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. And for a while, it had been sort of like the Free Talk Live LRN AMP program. LRN is the Liberty Radio Network. That is my little internet stream where we're on there, and a bunch of other liberty-oriented shows are on there. It's a 24/7 live streaming audio network with libertarian content around the clock. And so the AMP program was, to some extent, supporting that as well. And due to the discussions we've been having, decided to split that off. So to take the LRN factor from the AMP program and kind of make it its own fundraiser for the people who are in support of the idea of having satellite coverage of LRN.FM broadcast all around the globe. We've got 2 satellites right now, one over North and Central America. It's called Galaxy 19, and another one over Sub-Saharan Africa called SES-5 that are airing Free Talk Live and the dozens of other great shows on LRN.FM around the clock. And, I wanted to see if that has, support. Let's break it out. Let's see how much support it has, because some people in the AMP program wanted to see their AMP dollars just going to Free Talk Live to promote this show specifically, rather than going to spreading the satellite signal, which I like both of those things, but not everybody likes both of those things. So the idea was, let's split it off and, do some other stuff with the AMP money, like refocus that, and we've got some announcements coming up for that too. But the first step was to split off the LRN.FM satellite fundraiser, and that's happening now. It's ongoing. So the last 2 years we've done satellite fundraisers, we've used Indiegogo, and that's like a limited time thing. You can only do 30 or 60 days with Indiegogo, so we did 2 60-day things over the last couple of years and got some level of support for it. So I figured, well, let's see what happens if we can do ongoing monthly contributions for this.
Because LRN.FM is broadcast ongoing every month, every week, every day on satellites.
That's right.
Across the world or something.
And people are hearing that, and you can go and check out the video that I made and the pitch over at patreon.lrn.fm. And, of course, it talks about our caller, Akko from Cameroon, and the experiences that he's had and how common these satellite receivers are in countries like Cameroon and other poorer countries in Africa. And to me, how important it is that those people should be able to hear the ideas of liberty, too. I mean, this shouldn't just be a United States-centric focus. So anybody that supports that global spread of the ideas of liberty, you really ought to go to patreon.lrn.fm. As we go back to Eddie, listening on Kiva, he's the program director, the owner of the station. You were asking us about kind of your early experience with Bitcoin, and I was telling you how we kind of got dragged into it I wish I could say that I was, wise and hip to Bitcoin. I was aware that it existed. I thought it was a cool idea, but I'm just, I'm not a professional investor, and I didn't think I should go right out and buy that. So instead, I just sat around and just reported on Bitcoin, and then eventually one of our listeners and supporters and advertisers, Roger Ver, who you heard at the beginning of the show tonight, he was a current advertiser with us, paying dollars at the time for his advertisements. Then he came to us, Mark, and he said, "Would you take Bitcoin for these ads?" And we were like,
He said, I would like to, is what he said. And I interpreted that. When you deal with a businessman to the level of Roger Ver, I don't interpret that as, gentlemen, I'd like to bring forth this idea and see what you think. I mean, he's an advertiser, and advertisers kind of have the advantage in that way. And so I asked him, could we just do the Sunday show? Because we were rolling out the Sunday show at that time. And then, then I can, get a chance to see how this is working. And then we'll do the 7-day-a-week show later. And we did that. And so some months later, we switched to all 7 days.
So basically, had we had the vision for it, we would have said, yes, go ahead, pay us 100%.
We would be wildly wealthy right now.
We didn't. We were like, well, we're not so sure about this thing. So how about we let you pay 25%? And then it went to 50%. And then I think we went eventually to 100%.
I think you've got your numbers wrong.
No,
but that's
okay.
fine.
It seemed like that to me.
Yeah, it was it was 1/7, and then it was 100%.
So 15%.
Now we get more than it's about 85% of our revenue comes in crypto.
So we've got Bitcoin, we got Dash. These are the cryptocurrencies that are coming into us. Jax is paying with Bitcoin, though,
That's
right?
correct. Yep.
Yeah. So it's been a fun ride.
So if I can say one thing here, you probably have tens of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin based upon the appreciation of Bitcoin, I would imagine at this point, or are we beyond that?
I don't think we really need to get into
I can tell you how much I have.
that.
But if we did, what would you have to say regarding it?
I think it's awesome, and I think more people should be involved in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I see you guys as constantly advertising Bitcoin, so I thought, well, these guys got in early. How come other people didn't get in early?
Here's the thing: we're probably still early on. I mean,
it's still early
with Bitcoin, and so you can easily look back and say kick yourself and say, oh darn it, I should have gotten in when it was $10 a piece. But it's too late now for that. But it's not too late to get in at all, because you can always buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. Right now, one Bitcoin is going to cost you about $2,100 in U.S. dollars, but you can get a tenth of a Bitcoin or a hundredth of a Bitcoin, and so you can still, if all you got's $20 that you can spend, you can get $20 worth of Bitcoin. There are things called Bitcoin vending machines that are in pretty much all the major cities, where you literally just stick cash into a machine and then Bitcoin appears on your phone. Or you can sign up for one of the more centralized Bitcoin brokerage houses or exchanges like Coinbase or Itbit or one of these other places, and then you can give up your personal information, your bank account information, and then get Bitcoin very, very cheaply compared to say what you'd pay.
Well, I appreciate I appreciate you guys bringing it to the market. I think more people should be involved in it, and I'm just excited about the opportunity moving forward, because I have never seen something move like that until I started seeing this stuff in my Facebook feed, and everyone's like, well, if I would have invested this back in 2011, 2012, look how much I'd have today, and I guess that's where he's at.
You still would have done well if you'd invested it last year. I mean, Bitcoin at this time last year was about $600 per Bitcoin, so it's more than tripled in just the last year alone. I mean, there's no doubt that Bitcoin has been the best performing investment across all investments in the last decade. But it's a wild ride, and if you're going to get into it, I say my strategy, and I'm no expert, is to just hold on. Just watch and wait and see what happens, because if you get thrown off by the day-to-day ups and downs of it, it'll really throw you for a loop, because it's all over the place.
Well, congratulations on your new ranking, by the way, Ian.
Thank you, Eddie. Well, we couldn't have done it without you.
What you guys do for the station.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without great stations like yours that have the vision for having a show on that isn't your typical cookie cutter conservative talk radio show, and it takes some risk on a station's part to go out there and kind of put their foot out there like this and say, hey, let's take a little risk with these new guys, and I appreciate that. So thank you for the call tonight, man.
No problem.
Eddie Aragon from Kiva there in Albuquerque. And speaking of Albuquerque, Sarah is now on the line. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, just yesterday, our state legislatures decided to raise the gas tax at the state level. I'm quite shocked. So my question is, are we still going to have the city gas tax election on our ballot October 3rd? So are we going to?
You're talking about in New Mexico? Level? I have no idea.
The city of Albuquerque.
So that's a question. Yeah, but I was shocked. You know what? And you dug it up. You dug it up in the computer. But I think they were just messing around. We're not going. I never thought that they were really up to passing the gas tax at the state level, but they did it yesterday.
Well,
so I wonder
unless the gas tax at the state level repealed the local municipality's ability to add their own tax, then there's a good chance that the municipal tax will still be on the ballot.
So then it's going to be added to the state would tax it, and then the city could add their.
That's how it works in most places. Yes, where cities also may tack on an extra tax on top of the state tax. Is my understanding, at least, of how that works.
If the city is
but I can't believe they did it, and I'm so happy that they did.
I can believe it. The state's a money grubbing organization that's gonna, if money's changing hands, always want an ever increasing percentage of it. Go ahead, Johnny.
I wonder if bus fares.
You took the words out of my mouth. If the city is intending to, if they're looking at that potential revenue, the fact that the state has earmarked some of it for themselves does not take their hunger away.
Oh, yeah, they're going to do it. Hey, Sarah, thanks for the call tonight. And if you didn't get in tonight, no worries. We've always got another show tomorrow. We're on 7 nights a week. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, May 28th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.35 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,267 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,267. Antiwar.com reports the Iraqi Air Force says it has dropped hundreds of thousands of leaflets over the remaining parts of Old Mosul held by the Islamic State, urging the civilian population within to flee en masse for their own safety and suggesting a military offensive against those neighborhoods was imminent. Iraq has struggled for months with its offensive against the densely populated Old City, trying to limit the civilian death toll for fear of a backlash, and has been clearly regretting its warnings earlier in the invasion of Mosul that civilians ought not attempt to flee. Even getting civilians out of Mosul poses more problems since there was no official effort to make serious provisions for refugees beforehand, and the camps set up by private aid groups and those set up by the UN have already mostly been filled up. On top of that, the Islamic State has reportedly been trying to prevent mass civilian flight from their territory, as depopulating its neighborhoods would place fewer restrictions on invading forces. Since civilians have been shot trying to flee those areas, the leaflets may be reckless in and of themselves, as they encourage locals to take serious risk for the sake of war. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge on Friday dismissed a wrongful death suit against Hillary Clinton filed by the parents of two of the Americans killed in Benghazi. The lawsuit was filed in August during the heat of the presidential campaign. It alleges Clinton's use of a private email server caused the attack that killed 4 Americans, including Christopher J. Stevens, the U.S. ambassador to Libya. Clinton was Secretary of State in 2012 when the attack happened. One of the plaintiffs, Patricia Smith, whose son, Sean Smith, was among the people killed, delivered a searing indictment of Clinton at the RNC, saying the Democrats failed to protect her son and then lied to cover up how he died. The lawsuit linked Clinton's private email server with the Benghazi incident, despite there was no evidence Clinton's email server had anything to do with causing the Benghazi attack. In her decision, U.S. District Court Judge Amy Berman Jackson said the question of whether Clinton's email was used appropriately was not relevant to the case. In her 29-page opinion, Jackson wrote, "The court finds that Secretary Clinton was acting in the scope of her employment when she transmitted the emails that are alleged to give rise to her liability. The untimely deaths of plaintiff's son is tragic, and the court does not mean to minimize the unspeakable loss the plaintiffs have suffered in any way, but when one applies the appropriate legal standard, it is clear that the plaintiffs have not alleged sufficient facts to rebut the presumption that Secretary Clinton was acting in her official capacity when she used her private email server." Jackson also dismissed a related claim that Clinton defamed the parents by lying about them in the press. When the parents offered a different recollection of their meeting with Clinton after the attack, she told reporters the parents had not properly recalled the details of their conversation. Jackson said the discrepancies did not amount to libel and could have originated due to a simple misunderstanding. Jackson noted Secretary Clinton did not refer to the plaintiffs as liars. Plaintiffs may find the candidate's statements in her own defense to be unpleasant or offensive, but Secretary Clinton did not portray plaintiffs as odious, infamous, or ridiculous. To the contrary, statements portray plaintiffs as normal parents grieving over the loss of their loved ones. A lawyer for Clinton declined comment on the judge's ruling. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Bitcoin Not Bombs. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Saying that he was giving his coworkers at Marley Publishing just a few more days to catch on to him, local mentally unstable man Michael Redding told reporters he planned on exhibiting 1 or 2 more warning signs this week before, quote, finally doing this.
I think I'll do just a couple of disconcerting things in front of people here at the office,
maybe give them a day or two to take action through the appropriate channels. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm going through with it.
The fully unhinged Redding, who plans on, quote, making this thing happen sometime next week, claims that despite displaying erratic and worrisome behavior around the office for the past few months, his actions have gone completely unreported by his coworkers.
I definitely talked about my frustration with life in general, and I even discussed my fascination with all sorts of violence. But that still didn't throw up any red flags. We'll see if anyone catches on.
Mike? I don't know him super well, but he's nice enough. He's quiet and he keeps to himself mostly, but I'm sure he'll come out of his shell. Just a matter of time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Good evening and welcome here to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. I am your host, as always, Will Coley, and we are here in our beautiful, sleek Liberty Bunker, nestled in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. And it's been a good week, a bad week. It's been one of those weeks. But as always, this week I am joined by my co-host with the Mo-host, Mr. Tom Gray. How you doing tonight, Tom?
I don't know what Mo-host is, but
I don't either. I just made it up, bro. I just made it up. That's the beauty of the English language.
This week on the Call to Freedom, we now know how Vladimir Putin wooed Donald Trump. He went to Jared Kushner.
Jesus. Oh, stop, Tom. So I had a tornado come through my front yard this week. No
Sounds
joke.
a lot like what happened at the G7 summit.
Right? No, seriously. I saw it on, what was it, Wednesday. Touchdown in my neighbor's yard, through his trees, under his power pole, and over mine. Somehow, I'm not quite sure how that happened yet. Took out my amazing cherry tree in the front yard that was just starting to put on fruit, and then took off to down the hill, down to about 11 trees in my neighborhood, and my power was out for probably 16 hours. Had to have electricians and cable guy and the electric company and everybody out here, tree surgeons. It was a fun day. So
yeah, we didn't get the bad end of that storm, but I know some people in Knoxville who still don't have power.
I know people here in Maryville from the storm that we had yesterday that still don't have power. One of the girls that I work with, her entire apartment complex has been without power since the storm last night. So we've had some crazy storms here in East Tennessee.
You go from wildfires to flood level waters to tornadoes. It's almost like somebody with a whole lot of power is really mad at the state for voting for Trump by 80%,
or a gas tax. Speaking of Trump, May Beavers has decided she's going to run for governor. That should be entertaining at the very least.
You have no idea. Oh, we're going to be talking some May Beavers on the show.
I wonder if I can get her on the show. Tom. Come on now. You used to be in the GOP here. You can get her on the show. It'll be fun. You know what? What will be better is you tell her that we're going to do like a forum with governor's candidates, and we'll have the governor's candidate from New York, Larry Sharp, come on, and he can just rip her to pieces on the air, and it will be awesome. It's the closest thing to a debate stage with a Republican he's going to get, So let the New York libertarian tear apart the neocon Tennessean, and maybe her fan base listens and listens to her get her ass handed to her on the radio. It'd be awesome.
Well, but here's the problem with May Beavers is she can totally hang with that rhetoric and make you think that she agrees with you. But the bug up I have about May Beavers isn't like standard political stuff.
She's a security
Beavers,
state hawk.
Yeah, but she's also a former court reporter who thinks she knows more about the law than lawyers do, and nothing pisses off a lawyer more than that. Yeah. She was behind wanting to have like a civilian commission that would handle lawyer and judicial discipline. Like no lawyers on it, no judges, just all, Joe Schmo political appointees deciding whether we did something right or not.
Well, what about a civilian committee to oversee police? Oh, wait, that's not something she would be interested in.
Oh, snap.
Woo!
They're on. Okay, you got
all
me
right.
interested now.
Right? See? Come on, man. We got to get her on the show. It'll be great. It'll be like the most amazing on-air gang rape ever. We'll just kick the living piss out of her.
Wrong term. Not a good term. No.
Well, that's what I call it when
week,
Sean, when Sean Hannity, right? Not this week. When Sean Hannity has people on the air, and it's like him and another guy, and then like a guy in the middle that barely speaks English, and it's just like Hannity and his buddy like screaming over the top of the guy that barely speaks English. To me, that's like a verbal gang rape. That's what that is. Like it's a person who cannot defend themselves being violated over and over and over again by two people on national television. So I mean, anyway. So all right. So back to being professional.
Please.
Back to being a professional radio show host. So tonight we do have a guest. Yeah, that's right. I did my job this week. We have with us from the Cato Institute, Mr. Jason Kuznicki, and hopefully I said that correctly. Now
You did, yes.
He's the editor of Cato Unbound, the Cato Institute's online journal of debate. He's interested in fighting censorship, church and state issues, civil rights in the context of libertarian political theory, an assistant editor of the Encyclopedia of Libertarianism, and the author of Technology and the End of Authority, What is Government For? Thanks for coming on with us tonight, Jason.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Now, I had you on because you made some quite thought-provoking posts this week. Sometimes you happen to do that, but this week you had two or three, and we do deal with issues surrounding Islam specifically on this show, quite a lot, being as it's hosted by a Muslim, but just kind of the way that you put it, and it's something that I've always thought, but I hadn't heard it worded so perfectly. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to read it so people can understand what I'm trying to say. At least one of my favorites out of this, the one that actually inspired me to have you come on the show. We were trying to have Osama Saleh on with you tonight as well. He's a fairly well-known imam out of D.C., but it's Ramadan, so that means that, with the exception of myself, every other Muslim in the country is at the mosque right now for Tarawih prayers for Ramadan. So we won't really be having any Muslim guests over the course of the next 30 days, except for while we're at Porkfest. But this post here says, I've often seen Muhammad condemned for marrying Aisha at age 6 and consummating the relationship at age 9. To be perfectly clear, if this is true, it's clearly wrong. To me, it would fall in the same vicinity as Muhammad's tolerance for slavery, and Paul's too. If it's true, but Aisha's age is disputed. She might have been in her late teens, which is a different matter entirely. Given that we will probably never know for sure, let's ask ourselves another question. Why do we seemingly prefer that a wrong had been done? Does this belief make us into better people? Does it make Muslims into better people? If they believe it? Does it incline us all to be more religiously tolerant or treat women better? Or does it do the opposite? In short, if scholarship doesn't answer the question with any certainty, why do we so quickly reach the answer that makes us all worse off? And that's a really thoughtful question. Why, when we are reading something, particularly if we're reading something from what we see as a competing viewpoint, why do we automatically take the worst from it? It's like being married to somebody that if you tell them something and it can be taken 1,001 ways and one of them is bad, they automatically take it bad. Everybody's been in that relationship at least once in their life. But now we have people that it seems like that's how they operate at an intellectual level and a philosophical level, basically on any issue that they have an emotional connection to. And we'll get into that and cover a whole lot more when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
All right, and we're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM, and we're joined tonight by Jason Kuznicki from the Cato Institute, and we're going to have a discussion about how we bring preconceived notions basically to the table whenever we study anything really, particularly Islam. And the specific issue that Jason brought up is the age of Aisha bint Abu Bakr al-Mu'minin radiyallahu anhu. She is the daughter of Abu Bakr and one of the wives, seen as one in Islamic text as one of the most favored from among his wives, coming second after his first wife, Khadija. And the story goes is there are a number of hadith narrations that discuss the age, that gives some kind of inclination to the age of Aisha when she married the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Jason, you've heard both stories, correct?
I have, and I have to say, I'm not an expert on this period of history. I have a degree in history, but I don't have any special insight into distinguishing between the two stories as to what literally or actually happened in the past. But I'll leave that to you,
right?
And we can maybe go from there.
Well, see, the way that it works usually with like this kind of discussion, argumentation, debate between scholars within Islam is it's based on evidence. You have your evidence, I have my evidence, and then we have a discussion, and whoever has the most evidence or the best evidence, the most convincing evidence, is the one whose position usually should come out on top. Now, you do have differences of opinions that you don't have anyone that comes out on top, which is where you have like the four mutually orthodox schools, and they have differing opinions on different issues, but that's stuff like mechanics, like where to hold your hands when you pray. Really simple things like that, not like what is the understanding of the oneness of God, not majorly central aspects of a religion, but like mechanical detail. This is the best word I can come up with. And for Aisha, there is a single narration in Sahih Bukhari, chapter 5, book 58, number 243, and it says that Aisha states that she was 6 years old when she was married and 9 years old when the marriage was consummated. And that's one hadith with a single narrator being Aisha and no other corroborating narrators outside of that. Now, in a legal sense, that hadith cannot be used to support or create law because it only has a single narrator, and hadith with a single narrator cannot be used in the understanding or the formulation of legal decisions.